Blah 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 blah. Hello everybody and welcome to I'll Tell You What TV, the unofficial F1 podcast. And how are you tonight, James? James? James! Fucking I'm joking. He's busy. He's on mute at the moment. I can't believe you actually said it though, Steve. I was going to do it anyway, but Steve just goes, you have to start with it. Hello, James, how are you? But I was going to do it anyway. Yeah, so James is washing up at the moment, so he's on mute for a second. Steve is with us, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming race this weekend. The Australian Grand Prix. At least I hope it's this weekend, otherwise I've been telling these two it's a week early.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, it's this weekend.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's this weekend. So we are going to be talking a bit about that.
We need to talk about the new rule brought into Formula 1.
Yeah, we are going to be talking about that as well. Drew, who's watching, has also asked about that as well. I mean, we could start off on that actually. I think one of you guys is trying to do a video call with me because it's saying on my computer screen, camera, no device found. Learn more about fixing this issue. Well, the issue is easily fixable. Connect a fucking camera. But I haven't got one and I'm not doing it.
It's not me that's pressed it. I wonder if James has pressed it by accident instead of muting.
Yeah, he's got to come off mute and instead is it camera. So we are going to be talking about Formula 1. Also, we are going to try and keep our podcast shorter than we did over last season. I mean, it wasn't bad having 4-hour-long podcasts, but James...
We did get it down, though, when we started doing the after show.
Yeah, true.
Instead.
True. Now, one thing I do know is that we mentioned when we did the podcast a couple of weeks ago that all three of us we've kind of waned interest a little bit in Formula 1. And I've got a feeling, that there's going to be thousands and thousands of people that are feeling exactly the same way, and I don't think they're going to be helped this weekend. I know we talked about it a little bit last podcast, but I don't think we're going to be helped this weekend with it being at Melbourne. It's not an overtaking track. It's going to be a boring fucking race, unfortunately. And everyone that was thinking, I'm not sure about Formula 1, will watch the race and go, well, I don't think I'll bother.
Do you know, thinking back, right, I used to always see Suzuka as the last race of the season, but it used to be the first race of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it back as the first race of the season.
Yeah.
Because that track is great for overtaking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have a number of them. There were so many on the grid. Well, okay, you couldn't have a number of them. Europe is out of the equation because the weather's too bad. But there's plenty of other places they could go. Okay.
Well, they could go to Dubai, but there's one problem with Dubai. No, yeah, hang on. Dubai, yeah, they could go to Dubai, but there's one problem. They don't show the Flintstones in Dubai.
Why is that a problem?
But they do in Abu Dhabi.
Oh God. Jesus Christ, where have you fucking read that? That's fucking... I am hoping at the moment James can't hear. That was the worst fucking joke. That was almost as bad as my commentator, which I didn't do on the podcast. I did on the Dynamic GT League commentary. I think James is back with us now. James, are you there? James is not back with us now.
Oh, I found out where you heard that other stupid joke from as well. What's a pirate's favourite letter?
Oh, yeah. You've seen it, have you?
Yeah. I got up to that episode.
Yeah. It made me laugh when I heard it because I was like, I mean, we'll try it on James. James, what's a pirate's favourite letter?
Ah.
No. It's the C.
No, I was just saying. Me and Vicky had watched the documentary series on Netflix about Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
That were best thing about the whole of Formula One last year was the behind the scenes stuff that we didn't get to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, just seeing. I think they were at the beginning of one at races. I think it was Spanish Grand Prix, and there were. I forgot his name now.
What team?
I'm going to say Matt Neal. I was going to say Matt Neal, but
James
he's a
Neal.
touring car driver. He works for McLaren.
Sam Neal.
Yeah.
He works for dinosaurs.
Maybe, yeah. No.
Are you on about Mark Priestley?
No.
Not Mark Priestley, no.
He's one of the top execs at McLaren.
At McLaren?
And it was basically...
Frodo.
It was... No.
Frodo, you meant Fredo. Frodo. There's a big difference between my precious and this tastes all right. These used to be 10p.
No, it were just before the start of the race, and there's a top exec from McLaren in pits, and they must have like one of these microphones where you just aim it at somebody and you can hear exactly what they're saying, because they don't know that they're being what. Tim Goss? No, I don't think it's him.
No, he was a singer in the 80s and 90s.
Who? Eric Boulier? No, he's gone.
No, Jonathan Neal.
Gone.
Jonathan Neal.
Jonathan Neal, that's it.
The name that kept coming to my mind was Sam Michaels, but that was a few years ago.
No.
All I was thinking for a moment then was it was the singer...
Fat Zach. Fat Zach, no, it won't.
Ask her if she wants a microphone to join in.
Well, this is it. Vicky's been getting right into it. Like, there's been a lot of... We sat and watched pretty much like the majority of them. I think there's only like 2 left to watch. And they're absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, you're okay. So just before it started race in Spain,
Jonathan Neal
goes, I wonder how many corners Grosjean's going to get round today. literally
3.
I knew that he caused a massive crash at turn 3 by like lighting up the rear tyres and running wide. And Jonathan Neal goes, I bet turn 1. And his mate next to him, who's just like an engineer, goes, I'll go turn 2. And then for the race to start, I mean, the race started and then the crash happened, and then literally both of them went, I just said that before start race. So I'm just like, fuck me. So it isn't just us who has this, like, where, because I was saying to Vicky, like, how has he kept his drive? I have no clue how Grosjean's kept his drive.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, at least we're not the only ones saying it. It's up and down the pit lane. It's the same chatter.
The thing is, though, I mean, one of the things, I mean, when they brought out the McLaren documentary, that was really interesting, very insightful. There's been interviews with former F1 people, very interesting indeed. And then I haven't seen this this documentary series, but I am going to watch it. But the thing is, they've been the more entertaining and more exciting and more informative parts of Formula One in the last 3 years than has been for a long time. So to be saying that, I mean, that's a programme that obviously is getting Vicky involved in something that you enjoy, and it's obviously something you enjoy. And I know Twilight, who races with us, he was talking about it the other day and saying how good it is, and Steve F1 as well. He's been going on about how good it is. So for those kind of things, I mean, Formula One should have been doing these kind of things 20 years ago.
Yeah, from late 90s onward, there should have been, like, they've always released at the end of a Formula 1 season like a highlights DVD. This Netflix series just shat all over every single F1 DVD out there. Well, it was just fantastic.
Well, interestingly, Formula One have just released a 2000, I think, to last year, or was it 2000 to 2009 edition of DVDs. It's brand new 'cause it's got the new F1 logos on it, and it's like highlights of the season. Now, whether it is just going to be racing stuff or it's going to be additional stuff, I don't know. But when you think about it, but people used to go on about Bernie Ecclestone's vault of video archives. The amount of stuff that it must be in there that would be amazing to watch. Is that Bella or is that Vicky going? It's Vicky talking to Bella.
Yeah.
Does she know her voice gets really high pitched when she's going, Bella, what's your treat?
Mine does as well.
Well,
it's mainly because Bella knows that if you speak high pitched,
it's something good.
That it's all good.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go low, that's when shoot.
It's like,
shit's it fan man.
If you go, Bella, you want to go into the wheelie bin? She'll be dead happy.
And just for the new listeners that don't know Bella, it's not your kid, it's your dog.
Yeah, it's not the missus either, it's the dog. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the Formula One stuff. So yeah, it's stuff that they should have been watching. And I mean, I haven't known a season, for me, probably for about 10 years where I haven't had a lot of interest in what's going on. Now, I'm hoping that by the time Thursday comes around, not Thursday, because there won't be a practice session on Thursday, will there? By the time Friday comes around, I'll tune in to watch the practice sessions and I'll be hooked again. I am very... Sorry, Drew's just said, dude, that's my girl's name. Bella.
Yeah.
Bella, do you want to go in the wheelie bin? Fuck off, Drew. So I am just hoping it's not going to be a boring race, because the way I see it is, if it is a boring race, you'll have your hardcore F1 fans that will go, well, Australia's never good for action, blah blah blah, and you're going to have your other hardcore F1 fans who are like us that go, why the fuck is it still the first race of the season? Start off with a bang. But to be fair, on the flip side, if by Sunday night we're sat there going, fuck me, that was an amazing race, maybe F1 will have taken a step in the right direction.
Yeah, well, I was thinking the other day they were going on about like the reduction in downforce in the front wings and all this lot. The only thing that concerns me is I was looking back at some footage of 2009 cars, and they were the first iteration of these wider front wings. And they didn't have... I think they had like 2 elements, and then the cascades just before the wheels, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 2012 that it started getting multiple elements, which then reduced the action.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of think it'd have been better for Ross Brawn to implement some rules where it's literally like, this is the diameter area that you can put your front wing in, and it's got to be one element, and it's tiny, so that it forces people to, like the drivers are constantly going, God, I've got so much understeer, but it forces the teams to get creative then with rest at car.
Exactly, and that's... Sorry, go on.
But if they give them minimal rear wing as well, they'll have that balance of, shit, I've got loads of understeer, but hang on, I can counterbalance that with loads of oversteer by booting the throttle. So to get the car around a corner faster, it's about how you control your right foot rather than, I've got understeer, I'm going off.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well, okay, there's a possibility that in 2021 the front wings will be reduced even more. I don't think they will, but they could do that if what they're trying now works. Because hinting on what you said, James, one of the things that the teams have had to do with the reduction of elements to the front wing is get more creative with the rest of the car. And from what I heard from the first test, first pre-season test, was that some of the cars have managed to regain all of the downforce they have lost just in that area, sort of around the driver's arse and legs and sort of next to him under the side pods. So they've been able to reclaim a lot of the downforce. Now, if they can design the car to be able to keep the downforce while it's in the slipstream. Well, okay, you don't want downforce in a slipstream, but around a corner you still want the downforce. So if they can design the car or adapt the car to be able to cope in those situations, then yeah, reduce that front wing as much as you can, because then it'll force the teams again to get more creative. Is it going to make Australia a fantastic race? I don't know. I think in many ways the best thing that could happen for this weekend's race is an absolute fucking diabolical rain shower halfway through the first qualifying session, and the only teams that have been out on track are the bottom half of the grid.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who's going to be near the bottom. It's going to be Williams, isn't it? Williams are going to be.
Well,
Do you think there's a surprise? Do you think there's a surprise team that's going to be near Williams, or do you think Williams is just going to be pretty much like the Caterhams of this year?
I think Williams are going to be a surprise, and they're not going to be at the bottom.
Yeah, I can see them probably still at the bottom, but closer to the teams above them. But talking about Australia, the track, I can't understand why. I know it's a park and what have you, and it's supposed to be all normal roads and everything. But surely they could redesign turn 1 and 2 to make it more of a fast straight where you can, okay, have a kink left, kink right, but where you can take it flat out. So your first braking point is down at turn 3 hairpin.
So a bit more like Baku's long straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very
Yeah.
No, I was thinking more like, you remember French Grand Prix? Not the modern one, the previous iteration back in. Yeah, there's a fast chicken, a quick chicken through there, and you take it quite flat.
They are fast, but they're also single file.
Right.
I have raced there within the last couple of years, and they're tighter than you'd think.
But then it's not a problem with it being single file, because let's face it, at Australia, you're still single file by the time, even with DRS, you're single file down to turn 1 because you haven't got enough space for it to be effective. Now, maybe with the new DRS rules, the DRS will be more effective, but I don't like that. I would rather them have a longer straight so the power comes into it. Rather than the DRS, and they've got.
Sorry, or for a team like Williams that haven't got the power, but they also haven't got the downforce, so a slippier car. Just want to quickly mention that Drew says, guys, I have to go to Pet Boys to put some new stuff on my car. I've no idea what Pet Boys is. Hopefully it's a garage.
Pet Shop Boys. Is it Pet Shop Boys?
I hope not. When someone mentioned the singer earlier, all I could think of was, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. Anyway.
That was Right Said Fred, wasn't it?
That's it, Right Said Fred, yeah. Someone said I looked like him once. That was when I was skinny. Anyway, so yeah, Drew's got to go, so see you later, Drew. And he said he'll catch up with the rest of the podcast later on. So what was we on about? Yeah, so the straight. Yeah, I mean, they could redesign parts of the circuit to make it better for overtaking. But having said that, I mean, people say, "Oh, Melbourne, it's not a track you can overtake on." But the thing is, it is. I've watched other race series around that circuit. I've driven other cars around that circuit. You can overtake around that circuit, just not in F1 for the last 15 years.
But you know, turns 11 and 12, the fast chicane around the back of the circuit.
Yeah.
You could quite easily straighten that out a lot.
Yeah. To
fly. But put it this way, on games, Codemaster games. All right. If you said fuck it to the rules and turn the flags and the penalties off, you can take a straight line through there, cutting the corner. Make that the track.
Yeah.
Because then you make the braking zone down into the following corner more of an overtaking place.
Or turn it into a double hairpin. So you come out of turn 10, you're down by the wall. That's a hairpin that comes back straight into another hairpin. So a bit like Turkey's final 3 corners, but instead of 3 of them, there's only 2 of them. I mean, when it comes to overtaking places, you need a couple of features, and unfortunately, Herman Tilke on a number of his tracks has got it wrong. Going for off-camber corners to upset cars to provide overtaking opportunities hasn't worked, because basically people avoid the cambered area because it's faster, and you don't get a lot of overtaking.
Yeah.
Or
Also,
putting hairpins in where it doesn't work.
Or where he's made the track wider than any other track in the world because he thinks, oh, there'll be more room for overtaking. No, what you end up with is tyre degradation, marbles everywhere, and everyone still has to follow around in the little two-wheel tracks where there's no marbles.
Yeah.
One thing I suggest as well is right now, Turn 1 at Australia is pretty much single file, as we said.
Yeah.
But if you made it a fast corner, make it so that it's more of a challenge, because the track is like 1.5 cars width, so you can't get cars side by side. So if you do ever end up with 2 cars side by side into turn 1, you know somebody's got to back out, and that's who's gonna oh shit, neither of them, oh fuck, they're out. You know, I don't want 2 cars to be out. I don't want 2 cars to be out, but I think it'd create more entertainment if you created that situation where you had a really narrow section. I mean, we have the narrow section at Baku, don't we?
Yeah, true. I think I can kind of see what you're saying, but having said that, the narrow section at Baku, a lot of people moan about it. Personally, I like that narrow section of Baku. It's a feature that is not on any other circuit. Going from a normal width. Go on.
Even Monaco don't have it.
Yeah, I mean Monaco's pretty much the same width all the way round, and it's nowhere near as narrow as that Baku bit. And I've not driven around Baku much, but just as a look of it or driving it, it's a challenge. Get it right, you'll do well. Get it wrong, you're out. And I do like that feature on a racetrack. I mean, even if you look at a simple racetrack, Donington Park, you look at Donington Park and you think that's not a difficult track, but in actual fact, turn 1, if you get it slightly wrong, you're fucked. The old hairpin looks easy, but if you get it slightly wrong, you're fucked. So pretty much there's like 3 or 4 corners on that track where if you get it wrong, you're fucked. But then you look at somewhere like Mexico. If you get Mexico wrong, you're not fucked, you'll just carry on.
Yeah, that's why I like Suzuka. Apart from now they've they've tarmac some of turn 1. You know, there, you make a mistake, you're off the track. And in Formula 1, if you make a mistake at, say, the Degners, you're out of the race.
Yeah.
But we were saying the other day, I was saying the other day to Dave, like, we had that race...
Branzac.
In your league.
Branzac.
No, the race in your racing league on GT Sport at Bathurst.
Oh, right.
And I love that track to death. However,
you could have won that race as well, James.
I love that track to death. However, I do normally go, I prefer grass runoff to.
What do you think grass runoff now, then, James?
No, but what I'm saying is there are certain corners, such as the back straight at Bathurst, where you could do with a patch of grass, maybe 2 meters wide, and then after that, tarmac runoff. So at least if you do completely fuck it up, you've got an area where you can get on the brakes and slow the car down. Whereas if you've just got grass and you go off, you're just going like a rocket.
Did you see what I wrote on the on our Facebook page about the race when I was promoting the race video?
It's the final race of the season. Who's going to go out with a bang?
Well, I certainly did that, but all I'm saying is I can see the need for tarmac runoff, which I couldn't really see before. However, I do still think you could have 2 meters of grass at the side of the white line of the track,
Yeah.
And then after that 2 meters of grass, then you have your tarmac runoff, so that nobody can gain an advantage by going wide.
I mean, it's a little bit like you look at the fast left-right chicane at Melbourne at turns 11 and 12, I think they're called. I think it's a fantastic set of corners. Now, if you imagine, I mean, they wouldn't be able to do it, but if you imagine that there was grass on the left side, up right next to the track for 2 meters, and there was grass on the right side next to the track for 2 meters, all the way around the corner, suddenly no one takes liberties through those corners.
Yeah.
Because if you put a wheel on that grass, you're fucked. And proof of that is, you look at the exit of that corner over the last God knows how many years, if you get that slightly wrong, you're fucked. Was it Ralph Schumacher ripped his suspension off there in a Toyota? Getting airborne?
Which corner are we?
The fast left-right chicane, turn 11 and 12 at Melbourne.
11, 12. Big crash there. I'm trying to remember. I'm usually.
It wasn't a big crash. It tends to be people running wide on the road.
One of them. It were Timo Glock. He ran wide, hit the sausage curbs, and the front end just raised up off the ground, and the whole suspension just ripped off.
Yeah,
that's right. Because it said there was they actually put that on the F1 Facebook page this week, saying, "Look, Formula One cars can fly." Yeah.
But no, so if there was grass all the way around those corners, it would make things a little more punishing. I don't have a problem with a strip of grass and then tarmac. Now, I suppose from a biker's perspective, they'd be concerned about the transition from grass to tarmac, because if you've got a bit of a lip, it could cause damage if you hit it. I mean, I've seen people get stuck in gravel traps on sim racing games because, the gravel trap is effectively in a concrete box, and they were going through the gravel trap, and when they got to the far end of it, the concrete was above the gravel, so it hit the concrete and couldn't get out of the gravel trap. It was like being stuck in a sandpit. So yeah, I mean, I haven't a problem with a metre or two of grass, and then having a runoff, having tarmac. I would always prefer to see gravel, but there are some corners where, I'd agree. Tarmac is better than gravel, but there's corners like turn 1 at Suzuka where, that should have stayed as gravel.
Oh, yeah.
They should just do what Formula E does and just fence off the whole roads.
Yeah.
It's like, there's the edge of your track, you cannot go beyond it.
Well, there's been no controversy over people taking piss. And they have a clear rule that if you're using an escape road, you've got to physically stop the car before you're allowed to get going. So that's your penalty.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's good then. I like that. That's an interesting rule. That saves all hassle then, doesn't it? If you've had to use a service road, you bring the car to a stop, because that will cost you time.
Yeah.
Well, let's say, for instance, Formula One wanted to do that, and they said, look, if you leave the track, before you rejoin, you have to come to a stop. Would there be the argument of it could be unsafe for if somebody else leaves the track in the same place?
I think with that being so open-ended, right, because I would respond with, well, what if you're on the grass? You don't want to be stopping on the grass, or what if you're on the gravel? You don't want to be stopping on the gravel.
Tarmac. Let's say, for instance, I'm trying to take a corner that is known for exceeding track limits.
Oh, Mexico's full of them.
Well, yeah. Let's say Mexico turn 11, which is the last one before the stadium. It's not the one into the stadium section, but it's the last one before the stadium section. All right. If you were to be off track there, just imagine if there was almost like a pit box area just before you rejoin the track, where you'd have to come to a stop. In that situation, I'd probably say there isn't actually enough tarmac, but hypothetically, if there was an area just off the track to stop and continue, they could do that quite easily, and it wouldn't be unsafe, because all you would need to do is have a marshal prior to that corner that has a particular new flag that he waves if somebody is in the penalty box. So a little bit like at Monaco. Flag. Well, a little bit like Monaco, where if someone's coming down the main street, if someone's coming down the main street, and someone's coming out the pit exit, there's a big fucking arrow
flashing in blue saying move over there, there's a car coming, knobhead. Well, okay, it doesn't say that, it just says it's just an arrow, but it means that, yeah.
Well, the white flag means there's a car in front of you going slow, or that may stop.
Yeah.
And they use that mainly for practice sessions instead of a yellow flag.
I mean, but they could introduce that, but I would say in a corner like that, that is a massive penalty for running slightly wide, because at that particular corner you are running between millimetres and a couple of feet wide, right?
Well, where they tend to use it, where they tend to use it in Formula One is when there's a chicane, and you can avoid the chicane.
Yes.
Like in Mexico, they put a chicane in down basically after turn 11, before the it's about where turn 11 is. For the Formula E, so before you go into the stadium section, there's a chicane there, and if you cut the chicane, you're supposed to come to a stop. And I think on the last lap of the race, Verline in Formula E didn't come to a stop there, and they should have done. But his argument was, well, he got pushed over there. But the rules are clear: if you cut the corner, you stop. Right.
Well, what I was trying to say was, in a corner like turn 11 at Mexico, it's a 160 mile an hour corner, so going marginally off the track and having to come to a stop is too big a penalty for the crime. But if you take, for example, Sochi, it's turn 1, where you've got the right into the fast left-hander, right?
Yeah.
People go straight on, and okay, they have to go around a bollard. That corner, I could go, yeah, you know what, come to a stop there, because that way there's guaranteed no potential gain. So it would have to be corner dependent, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it, because even going back to Mexico turn 1. Was it not Hamilton one season went straight on at turn 1 at the start of the race and kept the lead? Now,
so they put loads of sausage curbs down this year, or last year, whatever.
Didn't really change much. People are still going over there, and you may, in practice, they were going over there a lot. But in a race situation, if it was a case of, right, you've gone deep at turn 1, you're now cutting the chicanes, you've got to come to a stop. They are either going to accept that punishment and come to a stop, or they're going to make damn sure they don't end up over there. And if that means them braking a little bit earlier and somebody else thinking, I can capitalise on this, that's all part of racing, and where the benefits of different driver abilities and beliefs in themselves come into play. Because this is one of the things, you neutralise drivers' inputs and you remove overtaking. You get rid of all the computer fucking twiddly buttons on a driver's steering wheel, give him a go pedal, a stop pedal, a talk to the pit pedal, not pedal but button, and leave him to it. All of a sudden you'll have different racing, because some drivers will go, I think something's not quite right here, I'm going to back off a bit, or I've got to save fuel, all that stuff is what makes racing.
Yeah, a couple of corners that I would definitely implement it on is Monza, turn 1 chicane, and the 4th chicane. The, what's it called, Dave? Quattro
Formaggio.
Yeah. So those chicanes, I would implement it. If you cut, Rosberg a couple of years ago, Monza, outbrakes himself, runs straight through and comes out still ahead of the car that takes the circuit correctly.
Yeah.
The same at Canada, last chicane.
Yeah.
If you're going off there, make it where they have to come to a stop. That way they're going to lose a position. They should have stayed on the track.
Yeah. The thing is, with somewhere like Canada, the last corner, I don't know if you'd be able to get a car stopped safely, because that's the other point. You've got to be able to get stopped safely. And the thing is that, take Monaco for example, there's no way you can stop safely. Rosberg showed that. Anyway, let's get back more towards the Grand Prix this weekend, because I'm interested to see what you guys think about the new rule that Formula One have brought in about the person who gets the fastest lap in the race, as long as they finish in the top 10, gets an extra bonus point.
Waste of time.
Bullshit.
Pointless. I mean, what is
It's
the
not
point?
pointless. You get a point.
Yeah. I mean, other than it being a point, right? What is the point in bringing that rule in? Because is it going to bring anything to the spectacle of the sport?
No.
For the spectators, it's not.
The only thing that's going to end up happening is if somebody has a really, really dog shit race, they're going to go, all right, well, what I'll do is, I can't win this one. I'm nowhere near points, but what I'll do is I'll just stick on a fresh set of tyres right at the end of the race. And you might even see fucking Williams doing it.
They won't get a point. They've got to be in the top 10.
Ah, what's the fucking point then?
Exactly. But not only that, right? Let's say you're Alfa Romeo, right? And you're 10th, yeah? And you've got a 30-second gap behind. And you're thinking, if I pit, I can come out ahead of the guys behind, fresh tyres, low fuel, go for a fastest lap, right? That might be a situation where you would want to gamble on doing it because you've got 1 point already and you're going to try and double it to 2. But the risk for reward for 1 point is not worth it because if you blow up your engine, you're at the back of the grid for the next race, basically. Because you're not finishing the race, and then you get a penalty so you get no points for that race. You didn't get your point that you were hoping to bag for the fastest lap, and then you're screwing over your next race as well.
Well, I'm going to give you another scenario now, right? Okay, let's say I'm going to say I'm racing. I'm sitting in 8th place, right? I'm 2 seconds behind the car in front of me, and I've been trying all race to catch him up, and I can't. I can't get past him. So I radio the team and say, look, I've got a big gap behind me, so let's box, let's go for the bonus point, because even if I got past the guy, I'd only be getting an extra 1 or 2 points anyway, so let's go for the bonus point. Team says, okay, no problem, box, box, box. We box for a new set of tyres and we come out of the pits. The guy who was then in front of me goes, oh, I've now got room behind me. If I pit, I can put on a brand new set of tyres and go for the fastest lap. So his team go, yeah, cool, box, box, box. So he's now still ahead of me. I can't go any faster. He can. But not only that, the person that was ahead of him goes, oh, look, I've got a load of space behind me now. I know what I'll do. I'll pit for the fact... And it could continue on. But the thing is...
I don't... It could be worse than that, right? You're in 8th place. You want to pit to try and get the fastest lap because you've got space to do it, right? That's taken away from the spectacle. You were only 2 seconds off the car in front that you could possibly have caught up to get an extra point. But instead of doing that, you decided to do the fastest lap where you might get an extra point. I want to see you try and overtake the car in front.
Yep. I mean, there's that as well. I mean, James hasn't said much on this yet, but that's because we've been waffling. It'll be interesting to get his more detailed thoughts.
It's just a lot of wank, isn't it?
Wank's got more point to it.
Exactly. I don't know.
It's more enjoyment.
I don't know. All I'm thinking of is, remember when Vettel had the most dominant car for fucking ages, and he always used to do. Yeah, he always used to do that, right? I'm sorry, but what if you end up with? It's all well and good if you've got cars that are very, very equal, but if you've got a one runaway car that's dominant, it's always going to get fastest lap. And there's another team which is not quite as fast, but you've got somebody like Alonso in 2012 who just keeps turning up on the podium. But he loses the championship down to fastest laps.
Yeah,
it'd be fucking dog shit.
I'll tell you why it won't. I'll tell you why it won't happen down to fastest laps, and that is because last year with Bottas getting 7 fastest laps in a season was the most in about 10 years for one driver to get fastest laps. So basically, since probably was at Red Bull, Vettel was at Red Bull, but he would have only got 7 more points, right? And it's been a long time since the championship has been that tight, where those points would make the difference. Because let's face it, last few seasons it's been won before the last race.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well, I mean, I know when Formula 2 was GP2, I mean, they might still do it. I can't remember. I didn't watch it as much last season. They previously have done point for fastest lap. Now, they don't have as many tyres, but what drivers would do in their races is they would, as let's say you're at the back of a 4-car train in the top 10, right? Even if you can make a move, you're only going to probably make one place. So what they'd do, they'd back off. They'd go, you know what, I'm not going to follow this train of cars. I'm going to back off a bit, look after my tyres, let them cool down a bit, and then I'm going to go for fastest lap. But for me, a lot like Steve says, that's taking away the whole point of being at the racetrack, which is to finish as high up the grid as you can. Now, to a degree, I can understand somebody being in a situation, let's say, for example, Max Verstappen finds himself at Monza, unable to touch a Ferrari or a Mercedes on a straight. Got no hope of overtaking him whatsoever. I could fully understand someone like him going, well, you know what, let's back off a bit because I can't get past them. Let's back off a bit and we'll go for the extra point if we can. We don't need to pit, but we'll just see what we can do. I can understand that, but if it ends up in people doing it in a position where actually they could have had a chance, so if you've got a Ferrari backing off from a Mercedes, hang on a minute, that's not right.
I just don't understand who's put that rule through.
Do you know what? There's also something else worth bearing in mind here, right? Let's say you're Ferrari, you put all your eggs in one basket, which is Vettel. I'm not saying they should do that, but they probably will.
The wrong basket.
All right. Let's say Vettel is in the top 3. He's in a podium position. Let's say he's sandwiched between 2 Mercedes. All right. Now, they want Vettel to get the maximum amount of points possible over the guys around him. What they wouldn't want is for one of the guys around them to get the fastest lap as well. So to prevent one of the Mercedes getting fastest lap as well, they call in Leclerc from 4th place to do an extra pit stop, all right, towards the end of a race. He's in 4th, but he ends up dropping down to 6th because he's pitted. They don't care about him losing the points. They want him to get the fastest lap, so the Mercedes don't get the fastest lap point.
That'd be an interest. I can't imagine anyone doing it and losing position. That's going to the extreme. If they did,
Well, if Lewis Hamilton,
hang on. If they did that, that would send a clear message to Charles Leclerc: we don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, but let's just say, right, that Lewis Hamilton's winning the race and he's got the fastest lap. And Vettel sat there thinking, I can't beat his fastest lap time and keep my same position. We don't want him to get any extra points, other than him getting his win. We've got to take that fastest lap off him. How are we going to do it?
I see what you're saying.
If I was a team boss, it'd be crossing my mind.
Yeah, I know it would. But what I'm trying to say is, I see what you're saying, but I can't imagine a team doing it where their driver would drop positions. Because yes, okay, they may put all their eggs in the one basket, but when it comes to it, the team is always more interested in the constructors' points, not the drivers' points. Because the constructors' points is what brings them the most money.
But what brings them the drivers' points, if it came down to a situation where it was the team literally just against itself, so i.e. 2014, it's Rosberg v Hamilton. There's nobody else got a chance. The team at that point doesn't really care because they're going to win either way. Whereas in a situation where, for example, 2012 Ferrari with Alonso up against Red Bull, they wouldn't care whether they won the constructors because, well, they clearly don't care if they win the constructors. Because how many times have they got a number 1, number 2 driver? If they wanted to win constructors, they'd always go for just two of the fastest fuckers out there, which is what they've done this year, which is why I'm a bit surprised. But in the past, it's usually been, we'll have one super fast driver and one that's just there or thereabouts. So that tells me straight away that they're not too fussed about the Constructors' Championship. compared to other teams. Well, maybe it's just Ferrari, but if you've got another team involved, to say Ferrari up against Red Bull, if there was no chance of winning the constructors, they would do absolutely anything for a driver's title, and we know that from 2012
through to last year.
2012, I seem to remember at Austin they cracked open Massa's gearbox just so he'd have a penalty to give Alonso an extra place on the grid.
So he'd have the clean side of the grid.
So they clearly don't care about the constructors, because if it were just about constructors, they wouldn't have bothered. They want the drivers just as much.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes about from it, but I agree with you both. It is pointless.
It's worth a point. One other thing to bear in mind is, what does the fastest lap of the race actually prove? Does it prove that that car was the fastest car in the race?
No, it doesn't. That's the thing, it doesn't.
Right. And if that's the case, why is that person being awarded a penalty for it? You might as well give a point.
A penalty.
Did I say penalty?
For it.
You know
did.
what
Awarded a penalty. Yeah, you're the fastest. There's a penalty.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, you might as well give a point for pole position, because that's the guy that should deserve the point, because he's earned it.
Yeah.
He's the fastest guy around the circuit.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's going to win the race, but he's the fastest guy around the circuit over a single lap.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you there.
I would agree, yeah. But, yeah, well, that's it. Fastest lap, no offence, it's dog shit.
Well, here's something then.
Of the triple you could get, pole position, if you wanted pole position or the win or the fastest lap, which would you rather have? Because I know for me, fastest lap's going to be last on the agenda, because you're going to make headlines on a Saturday if you get pole. You're going to make headlines on a Sunday if you win. If you're in 12th place but you get fastest lap and you've done neither of them, who's going to give a shit?
Okay, here's a question for you. Who had the fastest lap in the 2010 Grand Prix at Suzuka?
Alonso.
It probably was. I was going to say, okay, and who won the race at the Grand Prix?
Sebastian Vettel.
Did I pick the wrong year? Yeah,
you picked a too easy year there.
Okay, 2007.
That'd have been Alonso.
Where at?
I can't even
Suzuka.
remember. Suzuka.
I don't think the race at Suzuka in 2007.
With Fuji. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're killing my examples here. I'm going to have to fucking Google this now. 2007 Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, right. Fuji and Alonso crashed out. Hamilton won by a country mile.
Okay, yeah, it was Fuji. Okay, so who had the fastest lap?
Hamilton.
Let's see.
I think it was Kimi Räikkönen, to be honest. Fastest lap of the race.
Would you believe Wikipedia doesn't show who got fastest lap?
And that's how pointless it is.
That's how pointless it is.
Yeah. If
Wikipedia can't be asked putting up who's got fastest lap, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Well, it is it, right? It is something to think about. You shouldn't get the point unless it's the track record.
Ooh, now that'd be an interesting. Well, I was going to say that'd be an interesting one. However, you look, what was it? The last 2 seasons, track records have been getting smashed.
Well, yeah, then fair enough. But it's going to be a racing lap track record.
No, but what I'm saying is, right, all the records recently have been smashed, and it's possible that in the future the regulations change to a degree that the cars are suddenly slower. If they get to a point where they go, actually, guys, you know what? The cars are now too quick. We need to back it off a little bit. Then you have to scrap that, don't you? Because you ain't breaking.
Exactly.
You ain't breaking no track record.
Exactly. I don't mind that. But no, it's just stick to it as it was. If anything, give a point for qualifying, a pole position, because that's the guy that was proved to be quickest on the track.
I know what they should give extra points for. I mean, you mentioned about fastest lap, right? Sorry, not fastest lap, pole position, and Steve F1's saying good shout, point for pole, not fastest lap. I mean, I would agree with you. I'd even be happy with them going, right, we're going to adjust our point scoring system a little bit just to make things slightly different. Points all the way down the grid, right? So if you finish, because let's face it, the reliability is there or thereabouts now because they can turn the engines down so much. So if you finish the race, you bag points. It would also stop. How many times over the last 3-4 years have we seen teams say to their driver, okay, yeah, let's park the car, we'll save it for next race, because the race is nothing to us now. We're down in 16th, it's nothing to us. But if it's all points, they're going to stay on the fucking track, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, if you did that, that means you have to increase the amount of points that every position gets. If you increase the amount of points that every position gets, that then means that you could effectively give a point or points for qualifying. So if you if you get pole position, you could have 25 points. Or not 20, well, you could have 25 points and then second gets a bit less and so on, all the way down the grid, right? But
or if there's 24 cars, you get 24 points down to 1.
A point, yeah, right. But if you win the race, you don't get 25 points, you now get 50 points. So obviously you don't get anywhere near as many points for pole position as you do the win, but you get points for your qualifying position and you get even more points for your race finishing position. Now, difficulty there would be like whether people go, yeah, but hang on a minute, I got 8 points for qualifying 12th or whatever it is, but I only got 4 points for finishing a race. So people may argue it that way. So maybe the points would have to be structured. If you said, right, okay, pole position gets 24 points, then 23, then 22, and so on. Last place in the race would have to effectively be 25 points. So no matter where you finish in the race, you get more points than what can be achieved in qualifying. But then some people would go, oh, well, what's the point of giving 24 points to someone who's on pole position when you can just finish a race in last place and score the same amount, score 1 point more? There's always an argument to it.
I just think to myself, though, that it's just, I don't know, don't fix what ain't broken. Right now, of all problems Formula's got, that's not one that needs fixing.
Yeah, I think it's potentially a desperate attempt to relight people's interest in Formula One, and it's not the way to do it. The way to do it is with action on the track, and that's not probably what we're going to have this weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the only thing that I'm really, really looking forward to
is going to bed with Mrs.
No. The only thing I'm really, really looking forward to is Charles Leclerc versus Vettel. I cannot wait. And I just hope there's some spiciness, like in 2007 with Alonso being like, I'm the number one, you're just a rookie.
Yeah.
Because I'd just love to see, not that I hate him or not like that, but I'd just love to see Vettel crack.
Yeah. Steve F1 says Hamilton got fastest lap at Fuji in 2007.
Well, you can tell him from me, I don't care. He didn't get a point for it.
The thing is, to be fair though, I picked a race that is a memorable race. It wasn't memorable to me, to be honest, but once I'd seen the details of it, it was like, it was the wet race at Fuji where Hamilton was a beast. Everybody else was fucking all over the place, and he showed them all how to drive. So yeah, it's a memorable one.
It was the one where someone nearly wiped out the safety car, wasn't it? By coming sideways down the straight.
Sideways down.
Yeah, the safety car had to quickly get around the corner before it got wiped out by an F1 car.
Yeah, because he went. That wasn't on the straight. It was at turn one. Wasn't it?
That one.
Oh no, that was Nürburgring.
Nürburgring.
Yeah, where there was like 5 or 6 cars ended up in the barrier at turn one.
Yeah, it were Button that they got wiped out, I think.
Okay.
It's weird how my memory's so shit. I mean, Vicky just went to me, where's... other day we went to the supermarket and come back and she was like, where's this? And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, you told me about that before I went. And yeah, I can remember who won at Fuji in 2007.
It's even worse when the missus says, what did I just say to you? You're like, I don't know, I weren't listening. I've no idea.
Yeah.
Oh well. I mean, I had a stupid situation today, right? Normally, if I'm going somewhere that I've not been before, I will Google Maps it so I know, oh yeah, it's in that area. I know how to get to the area, but then I need a bit of help. That's what I'll use a sat-nav for. Today, I wasn't really very with it. I wasn't with it last night. I wasn't with it today. So I had to go somewhere to take my TV for repair. So I just jumped in the car, typed the address into the sat nav, like this address, Derby, yeah, bosh, go, and just followed the sat nav. It took me a weird fucking way from my house to one of the main roads out here, and I was like, well, I could have just gone the other way. But anyway, followed the sat nav after that, and pulled up outside the house where it says you have arrived at your destination. I'm like, I'm sure that it said the guy lived in Draycott. This is Spondon. I was at the wrong fucking address. And
like, yeah, there's the same address, but it's London.
Yeah, and I mean, had I have checked, I would have known. I didn't realise that, like, once I'd got onto this particular street, it was going to say your address. If I'd have realised before, I'd have gone, hang on a minute, this is wrong. But I was just so not with it. I was just like, follow the sat nav, follow the sat nav, follow the sat. Where the fuck am I?
Just to give you some idea, James, they're probably about 4 mile apart.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Anyway.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Well, that's not too bad compared to me and my fucking dreams about teeth, you know. Lovely.
Oh, yeah, Steve don't even know about that. But anyway, that's for another time. I was going to mention, actually, talking about memory, though. No, you know what, I'll save that for a little while as well. I think we should do our predictions for this weekend's race. We'll do our usual 4 predictions, guys, and then it's open to 2 other predictions that can be added. So anyone that's listening into this,
fastest lap.
Fastest lap. Yeah, we could go for that one. But if anyone has any suggestions of what we could make a prediction on during the race, whether it be fastest lap or who's going to be dick of the day, or whose wheel's going to fall off, or how many times will Vettel say blue flag, or how does he say it, James?
I don't know, but I was just thinking then you sounded very... You sounded just like Cartman from... Is it Cartman? The fat one from South Park.
South Park.
Blue flag!
You know what, I never really watched that. I never really watched it. I know the song, Chocolates of the Balls. Anyway, so yeah, if anyone's got any suggestions for any predictions that we can do, feel free to comment on it in the chat. So we're going to do our usual 4: pole, winner, podium, first to crash out, and then we're open up to new ones. So, you know what, James, you did so miserably last championship predictions.
Bullshit. Not like bigging me up, is there?
No. So I'm going to get you to go first. But I think to be fair though, we might need to set some ground rules here for the whole campaign, which would be when it comes to the podium. So just to so I can write this down. When it comes to the podium, you get a point for every correct name that's on the podium. So if you say Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, but only Hamilton and Vettel are on the podium, and it's Raikkonen who's the third, you get 2 points. But if you get all 3 correct, you get 3 points. If you get all 3 correct in the right order, it's 5 points.
Nice.
Okay.
Hang on. What about if you get the right guy on the podium, it's a point.
Yeah.
But get the right guy in the right position on the podium, it's 2 points. So if you get every guy in the right position on the podium, it's 6 points.
Oh.
But you may end up with just 2 correct in the correct positions, so you'd get 4 points.
Nothing like make it harder for me, is there? To do mathematics.
No, I mean, you get the guy on the podium, it's a point, but you put him in the right place, it's 2 points.
Okay, all right. You agree with that, James?
I don't get what he's saying, but I'll go with it.
It won't matter. James won't get any anyway.
Yeah. Basically, James, instead of getting a point,
he loves me, doesn't he?
Yeah. Instead of getting a point for getting a driver's name correct on the podium, you'll get 2 points for it.
Yeah. If he's in the right position.
If he's in the right, what if they're not in the right position, Steve? It's just
a point.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. A point for being on the podium.
Right.
But if he's in the right position on the podium, it's 2 points.
Okay.
So you've got the potential of 6 points.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Right, I don't think there's any others that we need to clear up. Sometimes there's somewhere it's like, are we going to give a bit of leeway? They'll be on a event by event basis. Okay, so James, we're going to start off with you. Who is going to be? Should I just write Leclerc down on every one of yours, James?
No.
Who's going to get pole position?
Vettel.
Steve.
Hamilton.
Okay, I am going to go with Verstappen.
Honda on pole?
I think Red Bull are going to be the surprise of the season. Okay, James.
Honda, we finally got it right.
we take 15 years, we won Dennis or to now go. We like a bull. We like a double.
Oh, where won Dennis when we need him?
Here with Fat Zach.
Yeah.
I hope we can realise that for anyone that gets offended by us calling Zach Brown Fat Zach, blame Vicky. That's the new hashtag. Blame Vicky.
Hashtag Fat Zach.
Yeah, I thought you was going to say hag tag as dude.
Right, he's eating too many Freddos.
Yeah, right, James. Who's going to win the race?
Charles Leclerc.
Steve.
Hamilton.
He's sticking with same format as last year.
He is, isn't he? Go for Hamilton. He's probably going to get points. I'm going to go for. I'm going to go Leclerc.
Do you know what? I'm very tempted to go Leclerc, but I want to wait to see if that Ferrari is going to outperform the Mercedes before I back Leclerc for the rest of the season.
Okay, James, your podium 3. Third to second, then first.
Charles Leclerc.
Hang on. Third, second, and first.
Sorry, I thought I was doing first, second, third.
Okay, well, do it first, second, third then. So
yeah, Charles Leclerc. I'm trying to do some sort of Mystic Meg shit, but it ain't going to happen. Hamilton. And Kimi Räikkönen.
Ooh.
It's just a stab in the dark, just a wild one. But yeah, there we go.
Okay, Steve, yours.
I know it's not very likely for Sauber. I shouldn't say Sauber. Alfa Romeo to get on podium, but I'll say it anyway.
Okay, my podium. First Hamilton. Second Leclerc. Third Verstappen.
Okay, I'm going to hedge my bets here. I'm going to go Vettel.
Actually, sorry, can I change my third one?
Go on then.
Instead of Kimi, I'll say Danny Rick.
How much are you going to kick yourself now if it's Kimi?
Okay.
You sure you don't want to take Vettel out there and put Danny Rick on?
The only reason I say that is when we were watching the documentary the other day, it was saying there's never been an Australian on podium at Albert Park.
There still won't be. Okay, so I'm going to go Vettel for the win, Hamilton second, Leclerc third. So I'm edging my bets there. Okay, first to crash out.
Grosjean.
Okay.
He probably listens to us as like a bit of a G up, and then he hears us say that and goes, "Oh no!"
Actually, I'm going to change mine, Dave.
Hang on, Grosjean, if you do listen into this, if you can slip in ITYW into any of your interviews, feel free to do so. If it's the one after the crash, though, we get bonus points. Or anyone that says your name for first crash out gets bonus points. Right, Steve, go on, change his name.
Albon.
Albon.
Who?
Exactly. I can't believe
Alexander
believe
Albon.
neither of you have gone with this one. Danny Kvyat.
Yeah, true. Did you know, James, Albon currently leading the championship?
Because his name starts with A.
Yeah, we got him with that 2 weeks ago. You see, that's a prime example of how bad people's memory can be. Okay, we have had one suggestion of a prediction. Steve F1 saying, "What lap will Grosjean moan on?"
Before the race, the laps.
It'll be morning because this year they might put tyres on Kevin's but not on his.
I want to know who he's going to blame because I can't blame Ericsson.
That's true.
I reckon Grosjean, if he has a shit show first few races, he'll be out. After watching that documentary, that Gunter Steiner were absolutely fucking hilarious. Like everybody going, "Oh, but you know," they were like basically like sticking up for Grosjean. And they were just like, Gunter Steiner just said it out. Well, he went, "No excuses, he's fucking shit." But they still retained him. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, we could go with what lap will Grosjean moan on, but I think it's obvious that he's going to moan. So come on, guys, think of some predictions that we could do.
I think we should do fastest lap, to be fair. With that rule coming in and it being the first race.
I'll probably say how many will make it to the end, because usually at Australia, with it being the first race, even though reliability is sort of stable now, you usually get a few anomalies at the first race.
Okay. All right, then. Okay, so James, who's going to get fastest lap? How do you spell that?
Fastest lap, it's gonna be. I reckon it's not gonna be somebody you're automatically gonna think of. So I'll say it's gonna be. Oh, for fuck's sake, I can't think. I'll go with Lando Norris.
Ooh.
And remember, Lando Norris, he never makes a mistake. Because he told us that in GP2. So just remember that.
That's why he only finished second.
Yeah, never makes a mistake.
All right, my fastest lap nominee would be Bottas.
After that argument you put up for Ferrari pitting Leclerc to get the point.
No. I think that will happen towards the end of the season when they realise that they don't want to give any. You know, like James was saying, that when the constructors is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to prevent. But I can see Bottas struggling on his tyres and then ending up having to pit towards the end like he normally does. After he's already given away third position, fourth position, and fifth position, and he's in sixth with a minute to the cars behind him, he might as well pit for fastest lap.
Yeah, true. Okay, I'm going to go for Max Verstappen. Because I think if any team is going to take advantage of a gap because they can't gain, Red Bull are the type of team that are going to say, fuck it, yeah, let's do it. We're the party boys. Okay, so, James, how many finishers?
Well, there's Kimi Räikkönen, isn't there? And then I'm trying to think who else is finished. Bottas.
Twat.
Sorry, that were almost as bad as Steve's joke earlier.
Things you probably haven't seen it, right? There was a radio show for a clip from a radio show from last season's Scottish Football Championship. Right, and it was on the radio, and a guy had phoned in, and they were talking about who should be in the Scottish national team, and the guy on the radio says, like the guy who's rang in, he says, "Oh well, in goal they should have like Magnus Magnusson or whatever his fucking name was," and the guy on the radio was like, "Yeah, but he's Finnish." And the guy's like, "He's not finished. He's only 28. He's like, "No, he's finished." "No, he's not finished. He's got years. He's a really good goal." He's like, "No, mate, he ain't Scottish. He's Finnish." And so, right, okay, see you later.
It wasn't Ray that phoned that were it?
No, I think even Ray would.
Well, it could have been with Ray. It could have been with Ray's football knowledge.
Well, I'm saying nothing. I like Ray, so I'm saying nothing.
I like Ray, but I'll still say it.
I still want to create the new logo I thought of for him, but I don't know if I should. All right, come on, James. Who's gonna be? No, not who. How many people are gonna finish the race?
I reckon both Red Bulls are gonna blow up.
Right. That puts you
You're gonna get Max Verstappen crying.
Okay, so that's 17.
Who else is gonna blow up? Who else got an Honda engine? Toro Rosso. Both Toro Rossos blow up as well. And Renault are fucking laughing their heads off like. Who else is there?
Well, if you said it's going to crash out, you might as well knock him off the list.
Who's going to crash out? Grosjean, yeah, he'll be out. Magnussen, I think this year he won't be so lucky, and he'll be showing up for the shit show he is. So he might be out. Just put both
he's
hats
had
out.
a second place at Australia before.
Who else is there? I'm trying to think of other people. Who the frig else is there?
Kvyat.
Kvyat.
Well, he's out 10 weeks. He got under engine. You got Norris. You got.
Oh yeah.
But
Want Carlos Sainz to do well. I'm trying to think.
So basically,
who else is there that's shit that's on grid?
I think the easiest way for you to look at it, see it as the route you're going is anyone that's got a Mercedes engine is going to finish. Anyone that's got a Renault engine is going to finish. Anyone that's got a Ferrari engine is going to finish. So there's
who else got a Renault engine other than Renault now?
McLaren.
Oh yeah, McLaren. Right. Right.
Just give me a number.
No,
I'm never going for dinner with you. What do you want for dinner? Well, this tastes like
no,
beef.
because I know what I'm getting. I'll say 15 finishes.
Okay. Steve?
All right, do you want the long version or the short version?
It's up to you.
18 finishes.
Okay. Well, I know last season had the highest number of finishers for every race in the championship. But also Australia has historically been, not historically, over the last 10 years or so, it has had the highest number of non-finishers quite often. So I'm going to go. When you look at it, you've got Fiat on the grid. He could wipe out 3 cars in one go. You got Grosjean on the grid. He could wipe out another 4 cars.
Imagine Grosjean and Kvyat side by side.
They're
gonna.
With Perez ahead of them.
Perez.
Perez. Perez behind them saying, "Move them out of the way. I'm faster than them."
Yeah, Perez. I hope he has a shit show of a season. I bet he won't. This is a jammy bastard, but I just hope he has a proper shit show of a season and everybody's like,
how can Formula 1 have so many shit drivers?
I know.
We've not even mentioned Stroll.
Fucking hell.
When you know it's bad when Red Bull go back to Danica Riat, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go for 12 finishers.
That's not very many.
I know. 8 of them out. The thing is, I mean, if you think about it, it was only, 3-4 years ago where there was 3 cars out on the way to the grid.
Oh, yeah.
So now I was thinking about offering a bonus one, and I was thinking sort of how many overtakes, but then it means sitting there counting the overtakes. So I'll just wait. It'd be interesting to see how. I won't do it as a bonus, but just out of interest, if we remember, we'll find out how many overtakes were done and can compare it to the previous year. So not for a bonus point or anything like that, but how many overtakes do you think there might actually be?
8. I take it you don't mean what's seen on camera, you mean throughout the race?
Throughout the whole race.
Overtakes and not change of position.
Oh, no. Well, the thing is, they class changes of position as overtakes, unfortunately.
So let's say, for instance, whoever's on pole position doesn't make it round corner one. Everyone's overtook him.
Look, I'll make it simple for you. However many overtakes Sky say have been done. I don't know what their parameters are. However many overtakes F1 puts out there as having been done.
Right. Well, this is something I'm just going to argue another case here for briefly. Formula E, right? Do you know how they calculate how many change of positions there've been? Right? If you've got one car that's overtaken another, they class that as 2 change of positions because one car's gone up and one car's gone down. I know. They said, we've had 73 change of positions and we're only so many laps in. It's like, well, hang on a minute.
I thought that was a high number when they said that at Mexico. I was like, hang on, we're only 5 laps into the race. And you're saying that there's been 43 changes of position. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because if you've got one car that's overtaken 10 guys, he's taken over 10 guys, he's got 10 changes of positions. But the other 9 people,
have all got
they've
one
all
change
lost.
each.
They've all got one change each. Exactly. So there's 19 changes of position.
Fucking hell.
But that's just how good they are, you know.
The thing is, though, theoretically, it's correct because the position has changed. Like, for one person, their position has changed, and for the other person, the position has changed. So, on the nitty-gritty of it, it is technically correct. But in
what they do.
But in a sporting sense, we're only interested in the positive.
Yeah. It's like saying at the end of a football match, how many goals has there been? Well, it's a 3-0 game, so it was 6 goals. No. Well, they conceded 3, so there's 3, and they scored 3, so there's 3.
Yeah.
I thought that's how football worked.
No. Well, yes, but no. Like, if you score 3 goals, you've won by 3-0, and the other team's lost by 3-0, but it's not 6 goals, it's 3 goals.
Yeah. But if you've lost... Oh, hey, who's this? Oh, I've got a beep in me.
Hello, Mum.
No, I'll move downstairs.
But yeah, because what they do is they go off the graphic on the side of the screen where it's got basically this guy's gained 9 positions, this guy's gained 3, he's lost 2. They add all those numbers up, and that's where they come up with the number of change of positions.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if F1 do a similar thing to boost their numbers. I think they'd be stupid to do it, though. So basically, what I'm saying is, however many overtakes Sky or F1, wherever I choose to research it, probably F1, however many overtakes they say has happened. Because I'm not going to sit there and count them, because, to be honest, we don't always see them. And I could fall asleep during the race. I mean, I haven't even decided if I'm going to be staying up, getting up, or watching replays.
Well, let me know what you're going to do, because I'll be hopefully watching it live. But that depends on whether other people are watching the Sky Go at the same time.
Yeah. So, are you sticking with 8?
What was it? No, that was just a random. That was more of a if we see it on screen. But if there's change of position gained, then it's 2 change of positions. But if there's change of position lost, then it's 3 change of positions. So that's what they do. They class that as 2 change of positions. But if there's change of position gained, then it's 3 change of positions. So that's what they do. They class that as 2 change of positions. But if there's change of position lost, then it's 3 change of positions. So that's what they do. They class that as 2 change of positions gained, then it's 3 change of positions. But if there's change of position lost, then it's 3 change of positions. And then I reckon it'd be probably around about, because it could be 36 when you think that some of the front leaders will have to pit and then maybe have to overtake cars. So yeah, I'd say 36.
Okay. I'm going to go with 16, of which minimal will actually be on-track overtakes, because they do tend to try and separate that with sort of on-track overtakes are, like, I think in Australia recently it's been piss poor, but changes of position is different. So James, what about you? Yeah, we could be here a while. James? Let's get a bonus point for guessing the number he'll say. I reckon he'll say 4.
I reckon he'll come with that 80 something.
It's a long phone call. But then James does like to talk.
Just not to us.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Oh, it's weird. When I've got my headphones on, you can't hear me. Let me try that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it went all weird then. Right. What question?
How many overtakes will there be?
Oh, 87.
You were listening. That's not fair. Or is that what you actually go with? Fuck it, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
All right.
87.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Right. Anything else that you want to mention about the upcoming Grand Prix this weekend?
I just hope it's exciting. I've got to say the Netflix specials perked my interest. It's done its job, but I'm a fussy bugger, and I want to make sure that it's. I just want to have that spark of excitement back.
Yeah. I mean, things. If you're gonna get up or stay up to watch it at the time of day that it's on, there's nothing worse than when it's a fucking bore fest.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I know I've done that for the last couple of years. I've basically sat there and gone, I could have just fucking stayed in bed.
Sleep.
Yeah, I could have stayed in bed, fucking had a decent night's sleep, and watched a replay of this because it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I just hope that drivers are showing up for who they really are. Like, it's a shit. I want them to be shit, rather than this false pretense of, oh, we're keeping them on. No offence, Grosjean should not be. I mean, this is one of the questions I'm going to say for like an overall before the season starts. Which driver do you think will not be driving at the end of the season? If you had to pick one.
So you mean replaced before the end of the season?
I think we've got a few culprits. You've got. I'm thinking Grosjean's definitely one. Kvyat's definitely one. Albon's definitely one, because God knows if he's even qualified to be good enough.
Well,
in a
Lando
Formula
Norris
car.
As well. Lando Norris is in jeopardy. If that car performs, Alonso's going to be in the seat.
Oh yeah, of course he will. He won't.
But
just
want to, before we divulge too much into that, our predictions are all locked in now. We can't change them, right?
Yeah, the ones we made today. Yeah.
Right. I found a stat.
Go on then.
How many overtakes were made at the race last year in Australia?
None.
Well, let's just recap on our predictions. Dave, you said how many?
16.
How many did I say? 36. And James went with
80. I think it might have been none last season.
15.
50. Ooh.
But do you know how many there were the previous season?
6.
3.
It's fucking exciting, isn't
it? Yeah, it's almost as exciting as listening to us three talk about F1.
I don't know. It's like that, but I mean, for me, it's bad when you're watching Formula E thinking this is fucking well exciting.
Yeah, that is a concern for me. I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? I have watched the Mexico Formula E race, and I know a few people that have watched it that have said it's an amazing race, it's the best race I've seen, blah, blah, blah. I watched it, and I'll be completely honest, I was kind of bored until the last 5 minutes. And then it was entertaining.
It were entertaining because it kind of made, like the situation people have every single day. And this probably relates to most people, which is probably why Formula E will work, is how many times do you have your phone, you're like, fucking hell, it's going to run out of battery. I'm going to put it on the lowest screen setting and see if I can, make it last all the way home.
Yeah.
Or I can't use it so much because it's going to run out of battery. And it is literally
driving.
Yeah, but it literally is just like that. I mean, that race at Mexico, that was what made it exciting, because you were like, fucking hell, they're not going to make it to end the race.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, it's all well and good being in that position right now, but you've used all your energy and you're fucked. Whereas in Formula 1, the engines are designed so that it never gets to that situation. The engines will work out the fuel for them and all that shite. Whereas if it were more manual, like, it's all down to the driver and they've got a gauge, and if they fuck up, they fuck up.
But also the difference as well with the Formula E race at Mexico, and I can't believe this hasn't been mentioned too much. They didn't even cover it at the following race this weekend just gone, which is the main reason why 3 of the cars struggled, which was 2 of the Nissans and then Verline's Mahindra, was the fact that up to a certain point they'd calculated how many laps the race was going to be, but because the leaders were travelling at such a high rate, speed, it basically added on an additional lap because he crossed the line on the penultimate lap with 10 seconds to go, meaning the race was 1 lap longer than what they anticipated.
Yeah,
and that was the same down the whole grid. So a lot of the guys realised that, or the teams that realised that early enough were able to save enough power early enough to negotiate that extra lap. But yeah, the difference there with Formula 1 is it's this amount of laps. Whereas with Formula E, you don't know how many laps you're going to be doing. Yes, it's 45 minutes plus 1, but that could add up to a 48-minute race or a 46-minute race, depending on what circuit they're on. And then, like I say, if you cross the line with 10 seconds to go, you've got, an extra lap to do, basically. Whereas if you'd have crossed it with, just going into...
Here's a thought for you then, with Formula E. Should they be allowed to recharge the car if it's red flagged?
I think no, because that's what your team's there for, to work it out.
Yeah, but then if you think about it, no matter when the red flag comes out, you can charge it. That means you can go for it.
Yeah, you can charge it when you're regenning anyway. Just not as much.
Just to let Rich Blues know, overtakes in the overall race, yes, that is one of the predictions that we have gone for. And yes, last season at Melbourne it was 15, and the year before it was 3. Yeah, I mean, okay. I know when we talked before Formula E started this season that it will be a massive concern to Formula 1 if people find Formula E more exciting to watch because of how the cars look, because of the racing. I'm still not convinced. I mean, the first race that we had, it was very entertaining to watch, but the noise just still killed it for me. And when I watched Mexico, it still did.
I'm of a very similar standpoint. However, I'm sitting down and watching it each time it's on. Now, there's been some Formula 1 races where I've just been like, I can't be arsed.
Yeah.
Now, and that's with an engine noise, but the engine noise is still not good enough. And maybe that's it. Maybe if Formula One just had a decent engine noise, we wouldn't be moaning so much about the shit action.
Well, I mean, when you say that, I know, was it on the first day of pre-season testing? Actually, it was before that. You know, like when teams released their liveries, they were also some of them also
and they were shit
doing a shakedown.
Yeah, some of them also did a bit of a shakedown. Now, I can't remember which team it was, but I know a couple of teams put like on their Facebook posts. It was like, listen to this new beast. And it was their car firing up and driving off. And I'm like, that sounds fucking shit. You can't say listen to this beast when people have heard proper F1 cars. Because these ain't no beasts. I mean, I know people with fucking road cars that are louder. So
it's like somebody going, listen to this fucking amazing singer, and they put Justin Bieber on. It's like, it's dog shit.
You just imagine though, for GP2 engine, the GP2 team went, listen to this beast, it's better than an F1 car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is a feature of it, though. I mean, I know, who was it? There was a guy that used to be in our racing league a couple of years ago. It was when the hybrid engines sort of really first came in, and he went to Spa to watch a race, and he was so disappointed at how the F1 car sounds. But he was saying that him and everyone around him couldn't believe how loud the GP2s were, and they were great. And that, for me, is wrong. You shouldn't be having... I mean, it's a little bit like... Okay, it's slightly different, but if you've ever seen a jet-powered dragster, they make some noise. Now, if you had a jet-powered dragster that made no fucking noise, but was still quick, it wouldn't have the same effect. It's the noise that adds a feature of it. It's a little bit like Gordon Ramsay could make you a delightful dinner while swearing at you, calling you you're a fucking idiot sandwich, you are, and all that kind of stuff. He could make you the most amazing dinner, but if it's got no flavour, there's no point. It has to have the flavour for it to be good. It doesn't matter.
I bet Dave the Art would make a good chef.
Fuck off, you cunt. That'd be his new nickname
Gordon
for season 3.
Gordon.
David Ramsey.
But yeah, so anyway, I mean, it'll be. I am hoping it'll be an exciting season. I mean, the thing is, after the first race, right, I wouldn't be surprised if both of you sit there and go, I'd rather watch Formula E. After the second race, if you still think the same way, I would be concerned. But we'll see how it goes. Okay.
But we are normally really, really positive. I'm just thinking about listeners who turn up and they don't know us and they've never listened before. We are normally really, really positive about Formula 1. I don't want to come across like all we do is fucking slag it off.
Well, actually, all we do is slag it off, but we've always enjoyed it.
For the past year is slag it off. Yeah. But it isn't our fault.
No, if you've got listeners coming in to listen because this is an F1 podcast and they have watched any sort of Formula 1 over the last 2 or 3 years, they'll know exactly where we're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if they've watched F1 over the last 10 or 15 years, they'll definitely know where we come from.
Yeah, and if you haven't, just go and Google, I don't know, James, give us an era, a year when the engines were fucking amazing.
The 90s. Anything from the 90s.
Anything from 90s, and also I would say definitely you need to check out something like... It probably will never be on anybody's top races of all time. But if you can Google 2012 China, fuck me, that were a race. Everybody and anybody were in on that for the win. And it were a corker. And I think I don't want to create a situation where there's literally anybody can win any race. There's no competition because everybody's the same. I don't want everybody exactly the same. But I want there to be a lot closer than they are and slight variations. So, for example, you've got the Red Bull, fucking amazing in corners, but then sacrifices straight line speed. Then you've got, like, Ferrari, who are pretty much an all-round good package. But the main key thing is, if these front wings don't work, they need to change them.
Yeah.
Definitely. If these front wings don't work, the teams cannot be satisfied and go, oh, yeah, it'll be okay. Because it won't be okay. It'll be okay for them in the short term, but as a long-term solution for Formula One, they're fucked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if it doesn't create more overtaking, which is what it's meant to do, then yeah. I mean, Steve has just sent, was that a Honda from 2004?
All right. It's at, I think it's Montegi. It's an oval. Basically, you see it drive around the oval, but it's more about hearing it. So after this podcast is finished, if you want to stick it in the link in the description, so other people can watch it. Don't do it now, otherwise people will jump to it and watch it now. But after we finish, they can watch it. But it's just that video of that car is the only video I have permanently got saved as in my watch later on YouTube. Others, I click on save to watch later, I watch it and delete it. That has stayed there for as long as I can remember.
I don't want to know what you do when watching that video. But yeah, I mean, sound. I mean, it's a little bit. If you're having sex with a woman and she's making no noise at all, it's going to make you think, "I'm not doing this right." If she
made the sound of that Formula One car going around that circuit, yeah, I'd come in seconds. Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, okay, I'm going to be bringing the podcast to an end soon. So I'm going to say, let's move on to the... we're not going to be doing an after show today. I'm getting quite tired. But I'm going to say we can move on to the anything section of the podcast, which means we can sort of talk about anything. And I just want to mention, James, you mentioned earlier on about being a little bit forgetful, and I know that we do commentary on Steve and Ray's Racing League at the moment, and some of the drivers might not be aware yet, although they can watch it, that you happen to start off one of the commentaries with, yeah, and the side by side as they go around the 90-degree right hander, and you carried on talking, and then I said, yeah, but it's a 90-degree left hander.
Well, I wasn't forgetful, that would just be stupid.
The thing is, I actually thought to myself, how did you get that wrong? But I think it was, the cars are coming towards the camera and go off to the right.
To the right, yeah. I know. Not my like.
The thing is as well, though, James, for the last 2 days, I've been hinting in the Dynamic GT League Facebook chat, because a couple of people have said, like, oh, another really good video, guys. Yeah, really good. I've watched it all today. And I'm like, have you watched it all?
Yeah.
And for example, Twilight, he said, yeah, thanks for mentioning about the award. Oh, you might not know about this, Steve. Unless you've watched it,
I've watched it.
So for anyone else that hasn't, so Twilight couldn't race on Thursday because he had an awards ceremony to go to. Anyway, they're there having the food and the drinks and the awards being given out, and then his group get an award, and they're all celebrating. They're all really happy. They get up on stage and they're like, "What are you doing? You came second."
That's reminding me of the Brazilian Grand Prix 2008.
Yeah. You're the champion.
What are you all celebrating for? You're not. What the fuck? Let's smash the Ferrari garage up.
Yeah. So for anyone that has watched the Dynamic GT League race footage, race video, are you sure you've watched it all? Because I mentioned that the other day. Have you watched it all? But then earlier today, I put a picture. It's quite funny actually. I put a picture in the Dynamic GT League chat, and all it was a part of a screenshot showing the whole of the YouTube time bar, with it at the point the video should end. But there's another 5 minutes of video. Oh, I wonder what that could be about. So I put that in the Dynamic GT League chat group earlier. Steve replies with, "It won't play."
I knew what it was.
Yeah. Ray replies with, "What car's that then?" And I'm thinking, what the fuck? What are you on about? What car? And then he replied saying, Oh, my bad. I thought it was headlights I was looking at. It's like, no, it's a play button and a skip left, like skip back a video, skip forward a video. So no, it's not a car. So yeah, if you're a DGT driver or you've watched the race video, are you sure you've watched it all? Because no one's mentioned anything about it.
Well, I think they need to go and have a look. But yeah, I know that I've been in the past. You've put little hints out there, and I'm thick as pig shit, and I go, "What are you on about?" So, if anybody's like me,
to be fair though, you did clock on to Foster's pretty damn quick.
Yeah, I kind of thought he's fucking with me. He said Foster's twice.
He said it 3 or 4 times around the first lap.
Yeah.
They're all called fucking Fosters.
I enjoyed doing that. I mean, it's a good opportunity, Steve, for you to plug yours and Ray's Racing League. So crack on.
Yeah, not that it needs much plugged in because it's going so well, but I will. Dynamic GT League on the PlayStation 4. We use Gran Turismo Sport game. We've got the next season coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So we have got a couple of weeks of fun races, which are on Thursdays from after 7. But the league races are they start about 8 p.m. for the qualifying, but the lobbies are open from 7. And the car we're using for the next season is the Red Bull Junior, max tuned, minimum weight, and we're at Red Bull Junior for round 1.
No, we're at the Red Bull Ring for round 1. We're not at the Red Bull Junior for round 1.
It's in the Red Bull Junior at the Red Bull Ring for round 1 on the 28th of March.
Okay.
But if you are interested in being involved, send us a message on this YouTube chat or come find us on Facebook, Dynamic GT League. Can't guarantee a seat straight away, but if you're interested in joining, like I say, just drop us your name and we can put your name in the hat for when there's a seat available.
That reminds me, actually, James, I know James gets all the liveries done, right, and I'm working on something, right, to do with the liveries, and then I happen to go online and I'm like, hang on a minute, James has just fucking posted an update on like 3 fucking liveries. I'm not doing anything extra, you can bollocks. Now, but I have got a question for you though, James, right? You've put up a livery for Rodders. Is it one that he's asked for, or is it one that you've gone, well, I've made it, so he can have it if he wants it?
He might as well have it, yeah.
But he's probably not going to use it. Right, okay.
Yeah, probably. So he'll probably choose a white one.
I'm going to ignore that then, unless he says differently. But I do know, I mean, I have messaged Dex, who is a driver that has been interested in joining, and told him, like, I've mentioned to him about liveries, and that he could create one or get one created for him, blah blah blah. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll be able to do something with the liveries. I mean, ideally I want to get the video I said video, so people know it's going to be a video now. I want to get what I'm doing finished within the next couple of days, so I can just get it released. So, but with Dex, it's kind of like, okay, well, I need to know if he's going to have a livery or not. I've got a backup plan if he hasn't. But if he is going to have one, I'd rather be able to show it. But the thing is, what I was sort of trying to lead to though with the livery thing is, people can create a better livery on a computer game than F1 teams can for real life.
Oh, I'm not kidding. On the livery that I'm using, must have took me about 20 hours. What the fuck are these people doing in these marketing departments in F1 teams?
Yeah. It's mental.
It's the only one in recent history where I've gone, well, that's quite different. That's quite nice with the Toro Rosso. But now I'm getting bored of that.
I was going to mention, actually, there was some F1 news that I forgot to mention to you about Paddy Lowe. Paddy Lowe confirmed, or Williams confirmed about a week ago, that Paddy Lowe is on leave after the late start to testing.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's to blame for the late start to testing. And because he's on leave, I mean, that could be anything. It could be he's got family issues that he needs to attend to, and they don't want to bring that to people's attention.
Yeah.
He's not suspended; he's on leave. So they've not called it gardening leave, which normally means that he's probably going to go to another team, but not yet. So
if I suspend anybody, it'd be bloody the boss.
I thought you was going to say Vicky from the bed.
Nah, but I'm sorry. Not any of that comes down to one person. That's a team effort that's fucked up there.
Yeah.
And that's just scapegoating if it is.
Right, just to get on to something slightly different. James, have you seen Joe Rogan's podcast with Lennox Lewis?
I've been listening to it today in car.
Oh?
Yeah.
What did you think? Or have you been getting too excited about Alex Jones?
No, well, I was saying, Steve, have you heard about Alex Jones?
I've listened to some of his podcasts with Rogan, but I've not listened to the Lennox Lewis one yet.
Yeah, well, I were saying to Dave the other day, I felt like I'd been listening to too much Alex Jones before the start of that race, which kind of might explain why I was so mental while driving. But anyway, I'm not coming up with any more excuses, you know. Anyway,
you should have heard. You should have heard my Nordschleife for a drift attempt earlier. I started off all calm and happy. I says, I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to blame myself. I'm just going to learn today. I fucking lost my bag by the end of it. I was like, for fuck's sake, Dave, you're a fucking dickhead.
But yeah, trying to think. My brain's gone blank. What the hell were I talking about?
Joe Rogan podcast.
Joe Rogan. Oh yeah. So yeah, no, I've not listened I've listened to Lennox Lewis, but I don't know. It's just not really tickled my fancy. I prefer the Alex Jones one because it's fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like fucking the aliens and drugs and shit.
Yeah, it is mental.
And flat Earth.
Yeah. Oh, Steve, tell James about what Simon Dan did about FIFA.
Oh, he probably knows this anyway.
What?
Simon Dan, right?
Oh.
Do you not know who Simon Dan is?
Oh.
All right, okay. He's the biggest up-and-coming YouTube channel of last year and basically so far this year. But anyway, he debunks flat earthers, right? And he takes their videos and takes the piss out of them big time, and he's got very cold black humour kind of thing. So it's quite funny, but he does it in a scientific way. He is a scientist and he's a teacher in schools and that sort of stuff. Anyway, there was a YouTuber that he basically ripped apart, and this YouTuber was like, "Oh, if you want any of my pamphlets, my leaflets, just send us an email to such and such." Anyway, Simon Dan decided to email this guy saying, "I'd like to have some of your leaflets, please, to do with flat Earth." And anyway, he signed it off with SMD FIFA because he's also got a YouTube channel where he shows himself playing football matches on FIFA. Obviously, SMD's Simon Dan. Well, this guy didn't twig, and it was just taking the piss out of him big time. And he even signed it in the end, SMD Dan, and this guy had no idea, and he basically did say something about he's going to have to do another video to do with him soon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's little things like the things he debunks is because I watched one today because he does what's called Flat Earth Friday, where he debunks flat earthers videos, and on Tuesdays he does Tinfoil Tuesdays, so people with crazy theories, he kind of debunks them as well. But some of the flat earth stuff has been really good, but the Tinfoil Tuesday that I saw today was basically this guy saying the moon and the earth are locked in their rotation, so only one side of the moon faces us.
Yeah.
So he says he's got like footage of the moon on like being shown on his screen, and he says, so if the moon is always facing the earth, how are there thousands of perfectly round craters on the side of the earth, on the side of the moon that is facing the earth? Simon Dan cuts his video there and goes, hold on a moment, because earlier in the video he also says, on the moon there are only circular craters. If something was to hit at an angle, it would create an elongated crater, and he's only ever been able to find one, and that was on Mars. So on the point of the video where Simon Dan cuts it, he goes, well, hang on a second, I thought you said there was only perfectly round craters on the moon, but I can see on your video that there's an elongated one there, so why couldn't you find that? And then he sits there and goes, I thought I'd have a look into this, so here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one, but you said there aren't any. And this guy, he then goes on to say, basically, with the space between the Earth and the Moon, it is impossible to have perfectly round craters, because the only way that that can happen is if an object hits the moon at a 90-degree angle, so basically dead straight.
Earth must be in the way.
Earth must be in the way. To which Simon Dan cuts it and says, well, actually, scientists have done the tests and proven that any object more than a 10-degree angle can create a circular crater. So your statement of 90 degrees, so dead straight, is incorrect, which means everything else you're saying is incorrect. But this guy is so adamant that it has to be hit dead straight to make a circular crater, and that's the kind of things he debunks. It's quite entertaining most of the time.
He's the sort of person, James, that once you start watching, you'll get hooked and you'll end up just watching them all like a Netflix series. You'll just go from one to the next to the next. But some of these flat earthers that he debunks, they are so thick as shit.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It is hilarious how he debunks them.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a documentary on bloody Netflix saying flat Earth. I thought I'll just watch it for a laugh because
is that Beyond the Curve?
Oh yeah, it was dog shit. It was complete dog shit.
Listen, I don't have Netflix, but I've been trying to find somewhere where I can watch this that's not on Netflix. In other words, waiting for someone to put up a video of it, and I can't yet. But there's plenty of stuff on YouTube of people talking about it, and there's one guy that's a flat earther, and he is pissed off with this video because basically it's flat earthers, from what I understand. It's flat earthers trying to do experiments to prove that the Earth is flat, but they end up actually proving that it's not flat. So this guy is pissed off that these so-called flat earthers have fucked up their experiments to the point where they now believe that the flat Earth may not be flat.
Oh, well, you know.
I mean, the thing
Get
is,
a life, I'd just say.
Well, there's not only that. With Simon Dan, Steve said he's one of the biggest up-and-coming YouTube channels, and he is. A lot of the flat earthers, there's a group of the English flat earthers that fucking hate him, and they were making videos about how he's on the payroll of NASA. He's being paid to say everything that he's saying. He's also on the payroll of a secret department of the FBI. But also that he's not one of the biggest up and coming YouTube channels. He's actually been falsifying his subscriber amount, so basically creating false YouTube accounts to subscribe to himself, and they've been going on about this for ages.
That's basically their claim, to say he's only got this big because he's been falsifying it.
Yeah. So he was talking to his friend, who is also another flat Earth debunker, who's also
Mad Cats or
something like that. Yeah. And he's a little twisted, really. And they've started doing like interconnected videos. So like Simon Dan will be doing a show, and his phone will ring, and it'll be the other guy who debunks, and they'll have a chat, and obviously it's stuff they edit together, and it's quite entertaining. And on this one, Dan sat there and he's saying, these guys are still saying that I'm falsifying everything, I don't know what to do. And his mate says, well, if you've hit 100,000 subscribers, you could apply for that thing from YouTube. And he starts having a look. It like basically on the screen it shows him on YouTube and having a look at different things. And it turns out that when you reach 100,000 subscribers, you can actually apply for a plaque from YouTube that shows, basically confirms
authenticity.
yeah, it's an authenticated plaque, an authentic YouTube 100,000 subscribers are basically a well done trophy from YouTube, and part of their parameters for awarding this trophy, which is on their website, is that they check your subscriptions. So any falsification of subscriptions or any improper content, all that kind of stuff is checked, and if everything is fine, you can be awarded the award. And obviously if you falsified your subscriptions, you don't get the award. So this is what it's showing, and he clicks on apply, and then the next thing it shows you, like, it cuts to like a dark silver thing. And then you just hear Simon Dan saying, "Yeah, so this happened," and he zooms out and he's holding the trophy. And he says, "You know, I think I'll just put that there on the shelf next to him, so it's always on the camera." And then the video ends.
Shelf, hasn't he?
Yeah. And then the video just ends.
That is a brilliant video.
Yeah.
He's got a special shelf where he's debunked people that think that dinosaurs didn't exist, and it's all people think that people have made up the story of dinosaurs and that all dinosaur bones are fake.
Bullshit.
But the thing is, with dinosaur bones, they are fake in most museums because they're too brittle to have on display.
Yeah, so casts. Yeah.
They make casts of them to say this is what a dinosaur skeleton would look like. But because they can't put a whole dinosaur skeleton together of real bones, because they've not got the strength and integrity to hang like they do when they make these big ones, they have to not falsify them, but make a replica to say this is what it would look like.
The thing is though, they are fake because it's actually stone, not bone.
Yeah. Whatever.
Don't think up what?
No, the stone, because
that's what fossils are, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just an imprint on the stone. But
I was doing a YouTube live stream earlier today. I was trying to do my Nordschleifer Drift challenge, and I saw that I'd got a comment. I was like, I wonder who this might be. And it was basically someone preaching God.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
you must have been cursing big time.
I probably was. I was cursing more after I read it.
Jesus will be so angry with you because you using the Lord's name in vain.
It went on something like, "There is only one Almighty God, and thou shalt behest him," and blah blah blah, and something about Trinity. And at the end, I read it. I was like, "There's only one Trinity I believe in, and she's in the Matrix, and that's more real than God."
Yeah, I'll just say, look, that's your opinion. Keep it to yourself or start your own channel.
I did say that as well, actually. I did say, like, if you want to believe, that's fine, but don't try forcing it on me. Because that's one thing. I mean, if what people want to believe in whatever, then fine, no problem. But don't mean you fucking force it down my throat.
All right, James, you might not know this about me and Dave, right? But me and Dave actually come from a very religious background.
Yeah.
All right. My dad's dad. All right.
I bet you're a Bible basher, and Dave's like, nah.
You probably won't believe this though, right? My dad's dad was a reverend. My mum's dad was a priest.
Yeah.
That's how much of a religious background our family has. Yeah. Me and Dave are like, oh, enough of it already.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think the whole thing about, well, we've gone into the after show really here, haven't we? But I think the whole thing about religion is it's not completely useless, but unfortunately, because there's so many wars regarding it, it comes across as completely useless. I believe that there's certain stories there's some wisdom to be handed down to the next generation, but unfortunately, it's been mixed in with so much other shit that what's been handed down is just bollocks. And
Right, do you know? Yeah, I agree with you 100%. All right, but the way I see it is this: there are a lot of superstitions out there, like do not walk under a ladder. Right, it's bad luck. All right, but when you think about it, are you really going to get bad luck from walking under the ladder, or is it because something might drop on you from above? So you avoid walking under the ladder in case something might happen, right? And in a religion, they have guidelines that try and steer you down a path to help you along life. Doesn't mean that everyone has to do the same thing, though. And just because you believe that walking under ladders isn't safe or shouldn't be done, doesn't mean that you should stop everyone else from walking under ladders and force everyone else to walk around them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've decided. I know what I'm gonna say the next time anyone says to me, "Do you believe in God?" My response is gonna be, "Do you believe in aliens?" Because I do.
Yeah.
And if you think I'm an idiot because I believe in aliens, I'm sorry, but there's more chance of aliens than there is of God. And if you want proof of that, wherever there is water on this planet, there is life. And there's plenty of water out in space.
But not only that, did you know that on this planet,
but
there
we're
is
on a flat
life
Earth. We're on a flat Earth.
on this flying disc through a non-entity of space? All right, and we've got a dome over the top as well, apparently, that we can't fly through.
Yeah.
All right, there is places on this Earth where there's pools of acid.
Yeah.
And in this pool of acid, where there is no oxygen,
there is life.
There is life. So if there is life where there's no oxygen, you don't even need water or oxygen to live.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to say in a nutshell is life can exist in the most inhospitable areas.
Exactly.
So the chances of life out in space is just got even bigger.
Yeah.
Exactly. So is there life on Mars? Probably not anymore.
Well,
Was there once life on Mars?
They're actually thinking there might be life on Mars, right?
Little green man.
It's not that long ago, right? That obviously it was thought, you know what? It looks like Mars may have had water on its surface. Given what we can see, it looks like there was water on the surface, or at least a liquid on the surface, because that's the only way that we could explain some of the markings on the surface. Recent, I was going to say trips to Mars. Recent scientific missions to Mars have detected a high possibility of water under the surface. If there is vast amounts of water under the surface, the likelihood of there being some bacterial life within that water is very high. Which means there is a possibility of life on Mars, but it won't be little green men. It's more than likely to be single-celled organisms.
Bacteria.
Yeah.
But that's still an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is, yeah.
It is. But the thing is, I mean, Brian Cox was asked about this, and I loved his answer. His answer, I think, was it Brian Cox or was it? Yeah, it was. His answer was, because he was asked, do you think there are aliens out there in space? He says, well, yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that we're the aliens. And it's like, actually, you know what? That's a good point. It is possible that a single-celled organism was on a meteorite that missed the moon and crashed into the Earth, which sparked the whole life cycle. Because when you look at it, it took billions of years or millions of years for this planet to get to a point where it could harvest life. But it is possible that something happened, i.e. a meteorite carrying something, hit the planet, bosh, life. And if that's
You're telling me
case,
Adam and Eve travelled on a meteorite?
Yeah. They got a big fucking apple. You never read James and the Giant Peach?
Do you think there's something I've been thinking for a while, right? What if, for example, there's a meteorite, right? And
meteorite, right?
Meteorite, right?
Yeah.
And it's on its way. It's the Earth. But this is like 50,000 years ago, right? And all the humans on Earth get completely fucking wiped out, apart from a few who were very, very lucky. So it's like an extinction event, just like what happened with dinosaurs, if they're real, you know. But it happened 20,000 years ago, eradicating all history of humanity's of humanity on Earth. But during that time, we just got to a point where we are at now. Where we can survive in space. We've got spaceships and shit like that. What if they set off on a mission 20,000 years ago, out into space, and then come back about now, and then they're like, fucking hell, that's like what we were like 20,000 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
You never know what's possible. I mean, that is something about it. I mean, the only thing is, I mean, scientists would say,
where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence?
Yeah.
If there's evidence, then there can be a theory. An idea is not really.
No. But there's certain things they've found. You watched the podcast with Joe Rogan with a bloke called Greg Hancock?
I don't think I did. The name doesn't ring a bell.
He's basically, I'll send you a link to his YouTube channel. He does scientific expeditions out to places where they've been discovered, but he keeps looking at them rather than just going. So, like, for example, Egypt may possibly be a hell of a lot older than originally thought.
Yeah.
So it could possibly be around 30,000 years old rather than 10,000 years old, which we're being told. Because there's certain things that don't add up, such as the existence of water erosion, where in that place in Egypt where the pyramids and shit are,
there hasn't been water for 30,000 years.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that where it's like, there's a few anomalies along the road.
I mean, the thing is as well, right? I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, I would definitely say anything's possible. And one of the reasons for that is, you look at the oceans, we know more about space than we do the bottom of our oceans, because we just can't fucking get there yet. And that means, I mean, I know over the last couple of years there's been more and more information about the fact that it was highly possible that England and France was basically connected by an area that wasn't covered in water. The ocean wasn't there, and that there are cities and towns and all this kind of stuff at the bottom of the ocean. But we just can't get there and see it. But there has been more and more evidence going towards that way, showing that our coastline was much further away than what it is now. And when you consider that is unexplored, it is possible that maybe the aliens are not above us, they're below us. And that there is because if you think about it, if, for example, there is more water on this planet now than there was 100,000 years ago, most things that would have been living at the lower peaks, at the lower echelons of land mass, would be underwater by now, and we can't see it, we can't get there, we can't explore it, we can't. I mean, you think about how many dinosaur fossils must be underwater. There must be millions of them potentially.
Well, this is what I constantly, whenever I go to a place where it's not heavily built up with like buildings and shit, my head's constantly thinking, what the fuck's underneath my feet? Like 2 meters down, there might be like maybe like 50 meters down, there might be like a full-on T-Rex skeleton for all I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember, I would have been about 15 years old, and I remember being up at my grand's, and I went off for a walk one day down by this river. And it was a hot sunny day, so I just basically sat down next to the river, just chilling out. And I'd got my granddad's
near the bandstand.
No, it wasn't there. It was It wasn't near the bandstand, it was somewhere else. I can't remember exactly where it was. But anyway, it was a lovely sunny day and I was just lying there chilling out, and I got my old granddad's old pocket knife, and I just happened to be I was lying there and I was just digging away at the mud, just digging away and just stabbing the floor. Sounds a bit weird, I know, but I was just stabbing the floor, and all of a sudden, about 2-3 inches down, I hit something. I was like, the fuck is that? So now I'm digging with a purpose, right? I fucking found something here, and then I can see, right, this looks like a coin, and I'm like, this must be a really old fucking coin. Eventually got to it, pulled it out, and it was a penny from like 1969. And instantly I was like, oh well, that's not very old, is it? And then I thought, hang on a minute, how does a 1969 penny get 3 inches under the grass? Because it wasn't a built-up area, it was just a riverbank, and it was 3 inches down. Does that mean, how was 3 inches of mud got above this coin? All right, you think about it. I don't know if you ever used to watch Time Team. I used to love it. How does they start?
I used to
digging...
love the one at Clips where it went, "What have you got there, Tim?" And he was like, "Oh, I've got slag."
Yeah. Oh, it's real coarse slag. This.
Oh, this is proper slag.
But even with that, right? When you think about it, for the layman who doesn't know, like I don't really, they dig down and they find shit. Right? They found walls and buildings and pottery and all this shit. But when you look at actually how deep they're digging, and I'm not talking like in a city, like when they renovate parts of London.
They dig about a metre down.
Yeah. So where the fuck has all that metre worth of mud come from? And if that's what's come over the last, since the Bronze Age, how much mud has been laid down since like 1 million years ago?
Oh no. And how about like certain things, like when you see tsunamis? Yeah, there's stuff that's left over, but I bet if you had a big enough tsunami, there'd be fucking no left.
Yeah.
Oh, that just brings me on to something on one of my bugbears I'm going to mention. Right. All this about save the oceans at the minute, all this plastic waste in the oceans. Yeah. Oh, we've got to stop using plastic because we're not disposing of it correctly and it's getting into the oceans. But we'll charge you 5p for a carrier. I don't think it's got anything to do with humans not disposing of plastic correctly. You think of all the tsunamis that have ever happened since plastic's been available, that's washed all that plastic off land into the oceans.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was going to be against you until you mentioned it. That's a good point. It is possible that every tsunami has dragged debris out there and has added to it. However, I do still back the idea that humans are not helping at all.
I understand that plastic's not biodegradable, and if a tsunami happens and it gets into the sea, it can still damage marine life. I understand that, but just to say that my bugbear is more that it's the humans are to blame because we're disposing of it incorrectly. Yeah. But if a tsunami happens, it's not the human's fault that it's not been disposed of correctly.
I mean, if a tsunami happens in the plastic recycling plant, it's not the human's fault, is it? Other than the humans created it. I mean, my argument to that would be, you go into a supermarket now, are you telling me that there isn't a much better form of packaging that could be created?
Well, why does a cucumber need to have a plastic bag around it?
Yeah.
I mean, you buy an apple, all right, and you give it a rub and you eat it.
Yeah.
With cucumber, why does it have to have shrink wrap around it?
Yeah. But not only that, why does everything... I mean, okay, cardboard, okay, that can be recycled, but I mean, okay, look around where you are now. How much plastic? I mean, I'll just look on my desk. How much plastic is on my desk? 2 games.
The desk.
2 games boxes, a bottle of water. Let's see. Actually, no, my cotton buds. They're not plastic. They are now cardboard. Oh, my medicine container.
But they bend though now.
Yeah, they do. Me medicine container, not medicine, me tablets, they come in plastic. Me handles on me scissors, me e-juice bottle, me TV screen wipes bottle, my parts of my lamp, my computer monitor is wrapped in plastic, my keyboard is wrapped in plastic, my headset
Condoms.
if they're made of plastic, she's going to be in pain. Yeah, I am surrounded by plastic. I mean,
Maybe we should go back to wooden box TVs.
the thing is, I do like wood. But I mean, to be fair, I do like the natural sort of the naturalism of wood. But anyway, plastic. It is evil, but at the same time, it is very useful.
But yeah, I just think to myself, end of the day, yeah, we're not doing best for the environment. We need to sort it all out and all that lot. But I think the biggest thing for marine life is overfishing and all fucking shit where people pull stuff out of the ocean and go, that's not profitable, throw it back in, it's dead. Sorry, there's a fucking food crisis in Africa. Send it to them.
I'm trying to think what film it was. I think it was some kind.
Waterworld.
No, it wasn't there. There was some kind of alien type film, and the alien basically said, "I don't understand your planet. In one part of the world, everyone's obese, or most people are obese, and in another part of the world, everybody is starving. How is that right?" And it's a perfectly valid point. How can you have a country where a lot of people are obese and another country where people have no food? And it's like, I don't think we're evolved enough to appreciate. I mean, everyone's so money, more, money. But there are. It might have actually been on the Joe Rogan podcast, I don't know. But then there's other parts of the world where they're just like, money, what's that?
Well, this is what fucks me off about all these knobheads banging on about Brexit, right?
Like you. No, going on about Brexit.
no, but what I'm meaning is, you get these knobheads banging on about Brexit. These are all the people that, if you stuck them in World War II, they'd be fucking useless. We won't win. Well, if we were in World War II now against Nazis, we won't fucking win now. We've got too many fucking weaklings just going, oh, what about Brexit? Are we going to do it? What are we going to do? What about a fucking world war?
You know what?
Try a world war. Let's see how you cope.
You know what, James? I want to tell you that I am offended that you're not offended about me not being offended, that you're offended about Brexit and the people that are offended about Brexit.
I'm glad.
I ain't got fucking clue what I just said, but I'm offended.
But that's you're sounding very left wing to me.
See, I must be very simple. I don't really understand like left wing, right wing. It don't mean shit to me.
Yeah,
it's either you're a knobhead or you're not.
Yeah, well, it didn't ever mean shit to me until Jordan Peterson came along, and then listening to him,
Who's she?
and then she's got big tits. No, am I joking? He's, just for anybody who doesn't know, he's like my new Jesus, right? He's pretty much like says it exactly how it is, and if you get offended by it, tough shit, because it's reality. He never says anything that's not got any evidence behind it. And if he says something, it's got some evidence behind it. And when people get fucked off with him because it hurts their feelings, it's like, I'm not saying this to hurt your feelings. I'm saying it because it's evidence.
Because it's true.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there that are like, oh, well, that hurts my feelings. That's a hate crime. I went up to Scotland a few weeks back, and there were so many posters up saying, do not accept hate crimes. Go to your local police station and report it and all this lot. What happened to, if you don't agree with somebody and they're being a knobhead, fucking lamp them in the face? I'm not saying just promoting violence, but there's so much of this culture now. Just run away from your problems and go tell somebody. It's like, what culture are we creating?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I mean, there's obviously the hot topic at the moment as well surrounding Tommy Robinson. And obviously he's getting... Well, I was going to say he's getting a lot of media attention. He's not getting a lot of media attention because he's being removed from all forms of media and social media and stuff like that. But I did see, I mean, it doesn't matter if you agree with him or you don't agree with him. I did see a picture on Facebook today, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not too up to speed on the English Defence League and all the shit they may or may not have done. I'm not aware of that kind of stuff. And I'm not one of these, like, shave your head, look like a yob, go beating up people of other ethnic origins. But this picture simply stated, like, there was a picture of about 4 or 5 Muslim men that are on a march with signs and banners and shouting, and it simply said, if these guys are allowed freedom of speech, why isn't this guy? And it was just a picture of Tommy Robinson. Now, the reason that resonated with me is because what he has been trying to do over the last couple of years is to give a form of media where he doesn't cross any lines, and everything that he does say is truthful and backed up by with evidence and things like that. So if people say, oh, you can't say that, it's offensive, it's like, hang on, I'm not saying that this guy, I'm not just randomly saying that this person is a rapist. I'm saying that this person was convicted of rape, and that's not my opinion, that's fact. And the thing is, you should not be absconded or fucking scolded for stating an actual fact. I mean, it'd be easy for me to go, oh, James, your fucking farts stink, that's a fact. Well, it's not a fact. It's highly possible, but until we get a smellometer. Well, the thing is a fact. It is a fact. I've never smelt your farts, so for me, I can't say it's a fact, but you can because you've smelt your farts. So you can say it's a fact, but I can't because I haven't got the evidence and the proof.
But even though it's a fact, because I'm getting offended, you can't say that.
Oh, all right, okay. Your farts smell like Terry's chocolate orange. Oh my god, that's just reminded me of something. Go on.
I was going to say, James, though, allegedly your farts stink.
Yeah, that's fine though. That's fine. You can say that. You can say that.
Yeah.
But having said that, with the Tommy Robinson thing, there is 2 things that have bugged me a little bit about him recently, and one of them is, right, and I mentioned this to Steve, that his name isn't actually Tommy Robinson, but I can appreciate why he doesn't use his real name. But the other is, when he got arrested most recently, right, it was portrayed as that he was wrongfully arrested. But in actual fact, right, he was arrested because the grooming gang, the rape gang that he was reporting on, their case had a no media side to it. Because the case was ongoing or something like that, basically the media were not allowed to report on it. Him reporting on it breached that, therefore he was in breach of court, therefore he broke the law and was arrested for it. I can't argue with that, but I can argue as to why there was a media blackout on it anyway. So,
but do you know what all he reported on it though was the fact that these people today are in court to do with this, and that's basically what he was saying, is these people are in court today and the media are not saying that they're in court today because they're not allowed to. So I'm just letting everyone know that today they are in court.
Yeah.
And he got arrested for it.
The one thing that fucks me off, though, is as well, of all the problems that we've got to deal with as a country right now, we've got that woman who went over to ISIS
Shamima.
and then coming. I'm not kidding. who gives her time of day? I wouldn't even have put her on news. Why do we need to be focusing on shit like that? We've got so many other problems.
I can't understand why stuff like that is on the news. I mean, if I was in government, I would not want that going onto the news, because I would not want her getting any kind of public backing or screen time. It'd be a case of, right, let's deal with you, and then tell her. I mean, now some people may say, well, that's putting a media blackout. No, it's not. It's a case of how many times since Christmas, for example, perhaps not for you, James, because you're not on Facebook as much, but if you're listening to this, how many times on your Facebook since Christmas have posts come up about missing children? Right? I've had a lot. That sounds wrong, but there have been a lot. There have been a lot appearing about missing children, and there was another one I saw today that was basically saying, look, this guy has been missing since November. It's not once been reported in the media, but this woman buggers off to join ISIS, tries to come back with her third baby, and she's all over the news. Well, what about this kid that's missing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
you know that baby's died now, don't you?
Has it? I thought the reports. I thought it was an old story of one of the children.
Is that a guilt trip?
No, this current baby that was 3 weeks old has died.
That we never saw. We never saw it.
Yeah, it died.
She just looked. She was just like patting something under a burqa that you never saw.
Yeah, it's died now, and so she's putting in a fresh claim for British citizenship.
Fuck off.
So
I'm sorry.
Does she really think that now a baby's died that she's going to get citizenship? There was more chance for getting it with her having a baby.
Yeah. Well, the whole reason why it were dropped the day after she had
is that how it died? She dropped it?
No. The story dropped in the media the day after she'd given birth. Now, if that's not
about time,
fucking
Anyway, we could end up going down a rabbit hole we don't really want to get down here. So, talking about holes, I want to mention to you two, right? Think of Terry's chocolate orange, right?
Yeah.
I like Terry's chocolate orange, but I can't eat them anymore because I saw an advert pop up on my Facebook feed about a chocolate company that will take a cast of your arsehole and then put it into a mould, and so that you can have little chocolates of your arsehole.
What's wrong with that? Chocolate stars?
No, well, they're not quite stars, but they do actually look a little bit like Terry's chocolate orange pieces, but they're completely round. And I'm like, okay, I can't eat a Terry's chocolate orange anymore.
I'm going to suggest it, as a treat for where Vicky works for kids.
Oh, God, no. I'm going to Google it so I can send you the link. Do I really want to put chocolate arsehole into my Google? Here we go. Chocolate arsehole mould. Chocolate arsenal cake.
Arsenal cake.
Edible anus chocolates.
Yum.
You can buy a box of them.
How much?
Nothing. $4.99 on eBay.
Is that for the moulds or for the chocolate?
That's for the chocolates of someone else's arsehole. Nothing says I love you like a chocolate anus.
But how do you know though if they use the mould or whether they just use their arse as the mould?
Right. Okay. This is the one. This is the one that I saw. I'm gonna send this to you. Oh my God! The look on the guy's face as well, and he's the one doing it.
Is he having a good time?
No, he doesn't look like it. It's just those chocolates. Oh, sorry. Edible Anus Company makes chocolate moulds of your or a loved one's butthole. Sit down, strap in, and get ready, people. This is a doozy.
Strap on, it should have said. Sit down, strap on.
I can see why you say chocolate look like chocolate orange.
Yeah.
Well, surely it would be a better marketing plan to not do chocolate arseholes, But to do chocolate fanny lips?
Oh, I don't know.
Because you could sit there licking it for ages.
You could, but at the same time, some of them are not nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying an arsehole is nice, but... yeah.
But...
Right.
Dear me.
I think we might have to end on that one.
Yeah, and we just get rid of this up the screen a bit.
Right.
Anyway, before we go, we forgot to answer the question that I mentioned earlier. Who do you think is going to be out of an F1 seat at the end of the year?
I think Norris. Even if it's just for one race, I think it'll be Norris.
I've got a feeling it's going to be Bottas.
Oh.
No, he'll be there. I've got a feeling his contract is squeaky clean and tight. And
yeah, but there's always performance clauses. If he has a shit show like he had at the end of this year just gone, I reckon Ocon will have his seat.
I think if it happens, it'll be the last race of the season just to get Ocon in the car if everything else has been decided.
If you were Bottas, though, where would you go?
Formula E. Serious, he probably would. Because Mercedes have taken Mercedes have got control of a team at the moment in Formula E, but they're going to be racing as Mercedes next season in Formula E.
But there's him. The only other thing that I think is going to be spicy this season is definitely Sergio Perez, because he cannot pull the same shit he were pulling with Ocon because Lance Stroll's son.
He won't need to, because Stroll will be so far behind him.
Yeah. But if his son gets a spurt on, and I'm not meaning in a sexy way, if he turns up to the races and starts to challenge Perez will be, for the first time in a long while, unable to fucking just wipe him out. And go, oh, sorry, I didn't see him. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to end this on a lighter note. The wonderful world of the human beings and the situation we find ourselves in, as I have just seen. After bypassing a number of signs and barriers, a woman was attacked by a jaguar after trying to get close enough to take a selfie with it.
Oh,
what the fuck?
Well, you know what? This reminds me. I was talking to my mate at work today about when I went to Australia and there were these penguins coming out of the ocean, right?
Right.
All these penguins coming out of the ocean, and we're sat there in the seats, and you're meant to just sit in your seats, and it's like a bit of an amphitheatre. As you've seen these penguins come out of the ocean, then they go under where you're sitting, and then they go into like a nesting area. We're sat there. These penguins started turning up out of the sea, and as they start doing that, there's this and not being racist, but we could hear some.
I thought he was enjoying himself.
We hear some Chinese people. Anyway, next second, right? We just
got a sore finger.
No,
don't do it. Don't do it.
And then he you alright?
Yeah.
Whenever I get cramp, I'm dead. But yeah, anyway, these Chinese people starts running down this amphitheatre. You know, like a football stadium, you've got your stairs to go up and down. Starts running down with the cameras, but not only with the cameras, but also with the rest of the family. With grannies, kids, toddlers, teenagers, just running down with cameras. And as they're running down, I think one of the kids ended up getting like trampled by his family.
Fucking hell.
For the sake of a picture of some fucking penguins.
Yeah.
That's where, for me, I always am a bit baffled about the way, we're all human, but there's certain humans who do not appreciate life as much as other humans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be dead up. Like, I love my dog to bits. If my dog keeled over, I'd be in bits, right? But I bet you a tenner, there's some people in this planet where if the dog died, they'd be like, might eat that.
Yeah, yeah. I did say we'll end this on a lighter note.
Well, it is a lighter note. That's food, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true. I'm talking about I am starving. Have I had dinner today? No, I haven't had dinner today. I am absolutely starving. Right, I think it is time to bring this show to an end. So we'll see how we get on with our predictions next Tuesday. So have a great one, folks, and make sure you check out Dynamic GT League on YouTube and Facebook, and also, if you haven't seen them before, check out Joe Rogan's podcast on suggestion of James. Check out Alex Jones's podcast, and if you are a Dynamic GT League racer, watch the last 5 minutes of the video, you fuckers.
Yeah. Also, if you're offended by anything that we may have said today,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And on top of that, if you are offended by stuff we've said, maybe it'd be worth you going and just typing into YouTube Jordan Peterson. You might just get your eyes opened up.
You know, you just reminded me of something actually. Something I was listening to. What was I watching? That was it. I was watching Innuendo Bingo. Right, they've restarted Innuendo Bingo on Radio 1. Right, and on one of them, they played a clip where somebody had rang in a radio station that was on in the daytime, and I can't remember what the whole subject was about, but basically it was to do with like sex and stuff like that. And
Was it this old woman that rang in?
No, this was a guy.
Oh.
And this guy says, he says, yeah, I'm more than happy to go out for a drink with my missus, and like we'll pick out a guy for her, and we'll take him home, and they'll start having sex. And the guy said, well, what are you doing? He says, oh, I'll sit there and have a cheeky pokey bum wank.
Yeah.
And the woman, the radio person, like, I'm really sorry about the language there. He says, why? There's nothing wrong with a pokey bum wank. Oh dear. Oh dear.
That could, yeah. I tell you what. For me, livery, can I please have hashtag cheeky bum? What were it? Cheeky bum wank.
Cheeky. It's pokey bum wank.
Pokey bum wank. Yeah, just do that.
No, I'm not doing that.
Hashtag.
I'll get blocked. Have you not seen that GT have put an announcement out with their update today? If you actually look at the update things, one of them is about users getting banned.
No.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You might have to delete your Pornhub taxes.
Yeah. No way. That's bullshit.
Might do. I mean, it's a little bit like I really want to do the Doctors for Ray decal, but I know I'll just have a feeling. The thing is, there'd be absolutely nothing, in all honesty, there would be nothing wrong with it if it was spelt correctly, but it's one of those situations where, well, it's been interpreted as, but it doesn't matter how you fucking interpret it, it's what it means. Exactly. If I mean it to be something else, then...
It's like I could call you an egg custard. In my head, that might mean that you're a complete fucking knobhead, but you know, I'm calling you an egg custard. But that's what I've made it in my head. If you get offended by me calling you an egg custard, that's your problem you need to deal with.
I wouldn't get offended, you bunt.
Yeah, exactly.
What age rating is the game, though, GT Sport?
You Wooking Fang.
Wooking Fang. That's a brilliant name, though, for
it is a brilliant one.
What age rating is GT Sport?
I've no idea. Let me have a look. 3+.
And that'll be why, because basically, if you're sharing stuff, anybody at that age could have access to it. So, but if you've misspelt something, then I don't see. Or instead of writing bitch, you've put itch.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, I actually saw something on Facebook recently where. How was it? It was a funny video of a child that had sworn, right? And the parents were laughing. And to be fair, it is funny. I've been in that situation where a child swears and it catches you off guard and it's funny as fuck. And it's very difficult to tell someone you shouldn't say that while you're laughing, right? But on this particular video, there was a lady that had commented on it, and she was going fucking mental about being a bad parent and all this kind of stuff, and saying it's disgraceful, like encouraging children to swear. And I just posted one comment, which is scientifically proven swearing reduces pain. And it has been scientifically proven that swearing reduces pain. So in actual fact, you are better off teaching your children. I'm not saying that you should do this, but if you were to teach your children, look, swearing is not good, and definitely swearing at other people is not good, but if you hurt yourself, it is perfectly fine and will help you to go, oh, for fuck's sake, or something like that, because it helps reduce pain.
Yeah, like if you drop your cereal on a morning, or you got milk all over the carpet, we're supposed to say, oh, sugar.
Oh, fiddly-dee.
Oh, no, you say, for fuck's sake.
No,
but it didn't hurt, though.
No, you say, oh, sugar, and someone else goes, no, I think it was milk and cornflakes.
With milk and cornflakes, yeah.
But yeah, anyway. Right, definitely time to bring this to an end. I need to go and get myself some dinner. It's been an interesting one, that's for sure. And thank you everyone for listening in, joining in. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. Just don't get offended. See you all later.
See ya.
Blah 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 blah.